Hello guys, hi. Welcome to stream. Ayo, stream
Match found.
But anyways, the title വേറെ ഒന്നുമല്ല. ഇന്നൊരു ഇതുണ്ടായിരുന്നു നമ്മുടെ ടീമല്ല ഓഫീസായിട്ട് ഡിസ്പ്ലേസ് മറ്റേ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഫെയർ പോലെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ഇന്ന് ടൈറ്റിൽ അടിച്ച സ്പെല്ലിംഗ് എവിടെയോ തെറ്റി, ഏതോ ഒരെണ്ണം തെറ്റി. So I hope it's not the correct fair. But anyways, ഞാൻ ഇന്നത്തേക്ക് വലുതായിട്ടൊന്നും പറയുന്നില്ല, കാരണം ഇന്ന് ഇതേ നടന്നുള്ളൂ. ഇതാണ് നടന്നത്, പ്രിയോറിറ്റി മാച്ച് ആയിരുന്നു. എനിക്ക് നാളത്തേക്ക് കുറച്ച് പണി തീർക്കണം. So I'll most probably stream fast and then try to like do some progress there and then just send a sign off or something. But anyways, as of then now I will watch some YouTube
for this. Flint, you don't even know what's coming. It is ready to go to town. You thought sweeping with Wonder Guard was lame. Oh, you think you're gonna mock punch me, bro? You didn't even try it. You're not even trying, man. Oh, you're gonna try and come in with the Flareon? You're gonna try and Will-O-Wisp? You think you're gonna be able to stop it? No. Canonically, Furret is now the most powerful Pokemon in the entire universe. This is for Jess, the one that I accidentally got killed. There's no fog around to save you now. That's the only way that you'd be able to make it out of this alive. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but how does it feel, Flint? How does it feel? I don't think I want to mess around too much. I think I just want to annihilate them. Let's him with a nice little Night Slash. Oh, he's faster than me. Awesome. God, mime is just cracked. I was worried about getting hit with Thunderbolt, but it was just already faster than me. So I know I almost got mime time. That was pretty scary. Okay, so he's gonna drain punch me. I believe in the power. I believe in the power. Huge power Absol. It's too powerful. Okay, that one could have gotten scary. All right, Alakazam, hate to break it to you, I'm gonna do it again. I think it's just gonna be an Alpharad sweep. All right, no more light screen. I'm gonna greed. I'm gonna go for one. We gotta click the signature move at least once. Okay, huge. All right, now I think I can get away. I'm pretty sure I can just click Sucker Punch. Well, I guess I only get a couple tries at it. Oh, okay. He was gonna hit me. Was it enough? Is it +1 huge power Life Orb Absol enough to kill Bronzong? Wow, would you look at that? It is. What a surprise. Who could have guessed? I have no idea if I needed that Dragon Dance or not, but I'm glad that it paid off. Have you been keeping well? Whoa. She was the champion this whole time? Uh-oh. Let's see. Our eggs have gotten us this far, but will they continue to be enough? Will it continue to be enough? Will huge power Life Orb Absol still be able to do it? Let's find out. Spiritomb, pretty good defense, but it doesn't matter. It is simply too strong. Psycho Cut right now? Whew, don't mind if I do. You want to send out Roserade and let me just Psycho Cut it up? Oh, Lucario? Shoot, I'll just do it to that. So why not? I'll just go for it. Oh, okay, well. No, Absol lives these. Absol 100% lives these. It's totally going to be fine. Absol.
It's just another brave turn.
All right, so I might have gotten a little bit overzealous, but that is because I wanted to use my friend Jesus. It is all culminated to this. The stinkiest smasher. He's so angry. He just has to let it all out. Okay, well, I don't even know if this will be enough to kill it. I'm hoping that it is. Well, simply outspeed it and kill it. Oh, it's gonna be tense. Sure would be embarrassing to just end up winning with our God, this guy's back again. I almost want to try it. I almost feel like it might. I feel like it might. Oh, it has extreme speed. I keep forgetting. Oops, sorry about that one. Furret, no. All right, well, are they gonna switch again? Nope. Okay. All right, I know you got some of those full restores left. I know you're saving a few of those. Yeah, yeah, read you like a book. No, we're fine. We eat a shockwave. Actually, we don't even need to. We just kill here with ice shark.
Ow!
Too free. The little Spiel, the little guy. He's just rolling around. He's rolling his way to a dub.
Last player standing.
Oh shit.
Down B.
Come on, you can take these. You can take these. Look, Spiel eats these every day of the week. What did I say? What did I say? I told you. Spiel was gonna eat those. Please send out Garchomp. I don't think there's any way we can kill Garchomp otherwise.
30 seconds left.
Send it out. Send it out. Come on. Yeah! All right. This is what we've been saving it for. All this time. For this moment right here. The Flygon HG sweep. The Spiel sweep. Yep. How does it feel? How does it feel, Garchomp? You never had any chance. Your fate was sealed from the beginning. As soon as we hatched this egg, we knew what it was destined to do. It was destined to kill that Garchomp, and you know what? I can't let you die. When everybody else failed, you get to live. Despite absolutely flubbing and getting a bunch of my friends killed, Suvi is there to right all of our wrongs. So Suvi and Flygon bring it home for us. As the rest of them unfortunately go down. And he wants to evolve. Look at he's like, what? I did it. See, yet again, just as I had planned it, a flawless champion victory. Thanks so much to everyone who submitted an egg for me to use during this run. And you, yes, you about to click off this video, don't forget to leave a comment before you go, letting me know which Pokemon you would want me to use for my next egg log where I take viewer suggested eggs. Anyways, click on this video on screen after leaving your comments. I know you'll like it even better than this one. Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Oh, huge power? Oh, very original. I like it.
Boy.
After putting my friends through the pain and suffering that is Roxanne's gym and Emerald Kaizo, I decided to gather them up once again and plunge them deeper into the depths of hell. Or did I? I rounded up some new faces as well as some old ones who, for some reason, agreed to let me put them through this torture yet again, despite informing them that they'd have to fight not only one additional gym leader, but the next 2 gym leaders in Emerald Kaizo.
30 seconds
One
left.
of which being an infamous run killer feared by anyone brave enough to hardcore Nuzlocke. Learning from the last race and hoping to not have the event run 2 hours longer than planned again, my fellow Emerald Kaizo expert Drew and I crafted a rule set that would make sure our runners couldn't
Spike
fail.
down. Defender
We disabled
spawn.
the XP
10
games so they
seconds
wouldn't
left.
go over the cap, removed all non-boss trainers outside of the gym, and
One enemy
handcrafted a
remaining.
Pokemon selection so that some combination of the Mons they were given would be able to overcome the trials and tribulations. Oh, and I gave them Mankind's strongest creature as a break in case of emergency failsafe. Worried about information overload at the start, I allowed 5 minutes.
Reloading.
You know, I told myself I was done with the after movies. I did 3 of them. That was enough. I was out, I was done, but then I changed my mind. So the 4th after movie, which has the dumbest title I've ever heard in my life, by the way, After Ever Happy. It's like Happy Ever After, but like backwards. Whoa, dude. Anyway, this movie came out in 2022, and now that the 5th and final movie is out, I think now, I thought, why not just finish the series? I mean, come on. There's only gonna be like 8 more of these probably. So the story so far, okay, Tessa's like, huh? And Harden's like, Wuthering Heights. And Tessa's like, and Harden's like, and then later Tessa's like, and then Harden's like,
B.
And then they switch things up because Harden's like, and then Tessa's like, and then we find out that Harden's real dad is Tessa's boss, which is like Harden's parents' friend or whatever, which makes Harden go, and there you go, you're all caught up. And this brings us to the 4th after movie, After Ever Happy. So come along, kids, let's take a walk. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. Well, somehow there's only 4 months left of 2023. What? And maybe you still haven't gotten around to doing your New Year's resolution of learning a new skill this year. Because, like, how do you even start? What do? You want to learn, like, literally
One
any
enemy
music
remaining.
instrument? Self-improvement techniques like journaling or how to be creative? You want to learn how to make cool stuff for weddings that your friends are definitely going to be jealous of? Well, wouldn't you know, you can learn almost anything on Skillshare. Now, some of you may know, I used to make a lot of video essays on this channel
30
before I
seconds
started
left.
this animation stuff. And I'll tell you right now, true story, I first learned how to do motion graphics and how to use Adobe After Effects from Skillshare. And then I took what I learned from that and applied it to animation, and now here we all are. So, thanks, Skillshare. Also, I'm currently working on my own Skillshare class. It's going to be on
Last
the site
player
very soon, so
standing.
keep an eye out for that. Right now, Skillshare has a special offer for all of you, okay? The first 1,000 people who join Skillshare using my link, you get 1 month of Skillshare for free. Okay, so let's say you do Skillshare for like an hour a day. That's 30 hours of classes you could get for free. So if this interests you, I highly recommend you click my link down below, sign up to Skillshare, and start learning something new today. Okay, back to the show. So we have our two main characters at Harden's mom's wedding, at which Harden is
Last
trying to
round
process
in the
everything as he
half.
always does.
Back heavy.
Ken,
Hey, complete for me.
you and I, we were like brothers.
Yeah, that makes it kind of worse, my dude. Hey, I slept with your mom, but that's because I was friends with your dad. What are you talking about?
I loved your mom.
Reloading.
She was head over heels with him. But then when he went to university, he wasn't there.
Forward.
He was running around, he was always busy, and she turned to me for
Revealing area.
Okay, but like that's what Hitachi wants her for. So,
Found
nice
them.
try, Harden's mom. Anyway, so as you might expect, Harden harumps his way out of there and goes back to his mom's house, place, thing, whatever this is. And of course, Tessa follows him all the way there because she's his designated caretaker.
Okay, we need to leave.
Years I've spent hating a man who, as it turns out, I didn't even need to fly. Jess, if two people love each other,
Chill.
Don't quote Hemingway at me.
Why are you always trying to find some sort of light in me, Tessa? Wake up.
Exactly, that's what I've been saying this whole time. This whole series should have been like 30 minutes long. Anyway, so after some back and forth, Harden burns his mom's house down. What? What? You know, whenever Tessa gets really upset, she just like gets new highlights or tries a new shade of eyeshadow or something like that. Or if things are real bad, she'll give herself back. You know what I'm saying? But Harden just burned his mom's house down, and Tessa's just over here like barely even phased by this. Like this girl is so far gone at this point. Anyway, so Christian, Harden's real dad, shows up and takes the blame for the fire, and Tessa takes Harden and Christian's car, and they just like drive all night to go somewhere.
He told the police that he started the fire.
He's got lawyers. And that's not going to change anything. He still lied to me for 21 years.
He's your father.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my opinion on this is gonna be pretty unpopular, but like, just because someone is blood related to you, like that itself doesn't mean you owe them anything. I gave you life, food, and water since you were born. Wow, congrats
Last
on not
player
letting the
standing.
baby you created
Fuck.
die. Amazing.
One
Incredible.
enemy
Gold
remaining.
star for you. I mean, the further away I got from my family, the better my life became. So, just
No.
Because I just keep
My
dragging you
babushka
to
told me
Shrek.
not to
Tessa
brag.
was-
For this, I make an exception.
Switching sides.
No, Tessa, come on! This is your out! This is your chance! What are you doing? Now, Harden is so stressed and upset about everything, he just sits there and does the hot guy lip touch thing for like 4 hours, and then they end up doing the old devil's tango. With no effort Tessa to pee afterwards. Genius idea. So after Harden's third tantrum that day, Tessa goes back to talk to Kimberly for a while and just like decompress about this whole situation.
And for selfish reasons, hearing about your problems makes me feel slightly better about my own.
I feel like I'm drowning. And I want to make it work, but I don't know if I can keep fighting against the current to save him rather than myself.
Oh, gee whiz, Tessa. If only this could have been avoided somehow. If only you had like 20
Revealing
chances
area.
to get away from this over the last 4 movies. Golly, gee, that's just terrible. So, still feeling a bunch of feelings and all that, Harden
Oh,
sneaks off
shit,
to go
oh,
somewhere. Right?
shit.
Tessa follows him to
Stop,
some
bro,
party
bro.
where he's all with some random girls, and of course Tessa's like, what? And after some more back and forth, they start throwing out the ultimatums.
Tess, what the
Shrek.
This is bullshit.
Shrek.
And this isn't
Right
us.
here.
Tess, that is not us.
Spike
We
planted.
keep going round in circles and you just won't
Shrek.
give up.
You win, Harden.
Of course, do.
You know better than anyone.
Okay, good one, Harden. Yeah, sick play, my dude. Got him. Finally, they break up. It's over.
Scanning
The
ahead.
movie's done. We're free. Never mind, just kidding. We got like an hour left of this match. So. So Harden's in London, I think, doing all the hot guy lip touching, and Tessa goes back to Seattle to do whatever it is she does there. So she goes back to their old apartment.
One enemy remaining.
She starts thinking of all the good times they used to have. Run for your life, Tessa! It's a trap! It's how they get you!
Last player
I know
standing.
that we fight like literally all the time, and
Hey,
we get every night. We're like, what about
shit.
the 2 or 3 good times we had like a couple years ago? Oh shoot, you're right. What was I like?
Now I know how annoying.
Cover or something. What is
Oh no, wait, no! It's got Thanos snapped! Come back! But then right after this, just out of nowhere, she finds her dad lying in the bathroom. Now, if you remember back in last year, her dad showed up and became friends with Harden for a while, but then left like 10 minutes later and just never showed up again. But so, here he is, dead on the floor from eating too much cereal. I assume, given context and my very innocent upbringing. So, let's just summarize everything so far. So, Harden finds out that the dad he hated growing up isn't actually his dad, and his real dad is the guy his mom was cheating with, who is like a family friend. And then he and Tessa break up, and literally the next day, Tessa loses her dad to the evil Cookie Crisp burglars. These movies are just really going for that like triple scoop chocolate shell trauma cone, which is the extra gummy bears on top, you know what I'm saying? It's like the ice cream sizes at Cold Stone, you know? It's like, you got like it, love it, and then the amount of unnecessarily inflated emotional BS in the after series. Anyway, so Tessa goes back to her mom's house to process everything, and Landon calls Harden, who's flying all the way to see Tessa, even though they've broken up or they're in the middle of a fight or something. I don't know what's really happening. I gotta be honest here, guys. I kind of tuned out like 10 minutes into this movie.
I am so sorry for what happened in London.
Thought we had a love that was out of a novel.
Ha, get it?
Shot down.
Okay, but every time.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
Oh shit, oh shit.
What did you try? What did you try to do ever? With Tessa, I only punched my drywall 3 times. I'm never gonna forget any of the decisions I'm about to make.
Enemies close.
Sorry, I couldn't
Eyes up.
fix you.
Oh, to be young and stupid. So they have a funeral for Tessa's dad, which Harden secretly pays for. And afterwards, what do you know? They both somehow end up alone together. Talk about feelings and stuff.
Do not fail. I'm mad at him. I'm like pissed off.
Uh-oh. She said the P word. That's how you know she's serious.
I'm so sorry it took something like this for me to realize how much you mean to me. And how much
Revealing area.
I want to be there for you.
Yeah, so I'm like really emotionally
Oh, shit,
vulnerable right now, and
baby.
somehow you're taking my dad's funeral and making it all about you, which is kind of weird, but you do have a really prominent Adam's apple and the ugliest tattoos I've ever seen. Not bad. But now, to Tessa's credit, she does stay broken up with him, and she decides to give herself a fresh start in life by moving to New York City with her friend Landon, and just kind of figuring things out without Harden, you know?
You are so strong, and I
Two
know
are
you'll
behind
get
you.
through this. And
One enemy remaining.
Yes, yeah.
girl, just do your best to pretend you're moving on, and eventually you'll believe it.
But then, of course, Tessa has to tell Harden about this whole decision she made. Understandably, she's not really looking forward to that.
I made a decision about something.
Scanning ahead.
Because of a lot of things.
There they are.
You were a bold. I am a mountain.
Okay, why?
Because we fight more
Match
than
point.
we get along. And
I mean, yeah, hey, that makes sense, and I'm sure Harden will understand and take this in a completely calm, mature manner. What was that? What is that?
You know, of all people, he knows how much you mean to me. That you're my pride, and he didn't tell me, and that hurt.
Is this dude like 7?
Scanning
I want
ahead.
cinnamon rolls. Okay, we just have to bake them in the oven for 20 minutes. You can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
So the next chunk of the movie is Harden going to like AA meetings, I think, and trying to figure out who he is without Tessa. And Tessa, now that Harden isn't around, she's in New York City and she's like laughing and having fun. Ha! See what I tell you? Fresh start, emotional turmoil, bam! First thing she does, give herself the worst bangs you've ever seen. And then we skip ahead 5 months. Tessa and Harden haven't spoken a single word the whole time. But here he is in New York City for some mysterious reason. He decides to catch up with Tessa.
One
and see how
enemy
she's doing.
remaining. Spike down A.
Lights here.
You seeing anyone?
yes, I'm out every night.
Defenders win. dying.
I'm actually not hurting anyone. I'm quite conservative in that way.
This is like the kind of infallible cyclical logic I always tried to use when I asked girls out in high school. Oh, what's that? You're single? Wow, me too. What are the chances? Guess there's literally no other reason for us to not date now, you know what I'm saying? All right, can you pick me up, please? I don't have a car. Now they're hanging out and spooning on the couch, and Tessa once again conveniently forgets the whole reason for all of this happening in the first place. Because, you know, Harden keeps using all of his British man superpowers on her.
You seem different. Like the same, but just different.
Match
The heck does that
found.
even mean? And so, what do you know? In a shocking plot twist, they end up doing the old devil's tango once again, and now they're back together again because, of course, they are. But just when things are looking good, Tessa's feeling happy and thinking that this time will definitely be different, which means something's about to go horribly awry in about 5 minutes. When she's cleaning up one day, she knocks Harden's bag on the floor accidentally and finds a manuscript for a book. What? Which, of course, she starts reading because remember, she's one of those book girls. I mean, that's what Harden got her the first time.
You looking for something? He's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same.
You know, like, what if she'd never even heard of this book and she just thought Harden was standing there talking like some kind of psychopath? Anyway, so she starts to read Harden's manuscript.
It was the fool when he met her. In his world, he was only concerned about one thing, himself. He'd won every bet so far, and this was supposed to be no different. Although in Tessa's nearness, he felt an apprehension this time.
Oh, the after movies are based on a book that Harden wrote. Yeah, no wonder they're complete garbage. It all makes sense now. And then as she keeps reading and gets close to the end of the book, she reads this part.
Though she was unable to bear children of her own, she couldn't let go of the dream of them. He knew that, and loved her even so. But he couldn't help thinking about the little versions of him she couldn't give him. He hoped she will understand just how broken he was, and see how much she affected his life.
Wait, stop, hold on, what? So Tessa finds out that she can't have kids, and this is hard for Harden? He's the victim in all this? Oh, won't someone think of Harden's feelings for once? Now, as you might expect, Tessa's a little upset about all their intimate private moments being used for entertainment, especially since he did this all behind her back and just like never mentioned it ever.
How did you think I was gonna feel?
Well, it's not all about you.
You would never let me read what you were writing in there, and now the whole world gets to. Stuff about me.
I started that journal to figure it out in my head. They asked me to read it in group therapy, so I did, and one thing just led to another.
You accidentally wrote a book.
Well, yeah, Tessa, when you put it like that, it makes my argument sound silly. So yeah, turns out there's a bidding war for Harden's book, which honestly doesn't even sound like a book. It kind of just sounds like random thoughts he had in the shower. But I mean, hey, the After series and the 50 Shades series have both sold like 1 billion copies, so what do I know? And so Tessa and Harden break up once again, except this time Tessa's the one who's sad and walking in the rain, and Harden is the hot new upcoming author everyone's talking about. Dad, look at me, I'm Harden. Yeah, I got a lucrative book deal by accident.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll stop blithering on and I'll actually read something.
And yeah, that's pretty much where the movie ends, with a to be continued. So much like the last couple movies in the series, not a whole lot really happens at all. Like Harden finally reconciles with his parents, and then he and Tessa break up and get back together like 4 times, and then Harden trips and falls into a book deal with a major publisher. The movie's like 5 minutes of story and 85 minutes of Harden touching his lips. But anyway, like I said, the 5th movie, called After Everything, is out in theaters now, I think, and it's probably gonna come to streaming in like a month or so. And I guess I'll have to make a video on that one too. I mean, at this point, I'm just like numb to the pain, so hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one.
Last
that's how the
player
algorithm
standing.
works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that, because like, that's how YouTube knows that my videos are worth caring about. Also, if you have any movies or TV shows you'd like to recommend, send me an email at alexmyerscontact@gmail.com, and I'll put them on my absurdly...
They shoot up what looks to be several hundred meters. Watch how they blast out of this shaft. But they're all fine though. The Russians show up immediately afterwards. The woman they saved is revealed to be Supergirl, and she saves the day. They escape and return home to Batman's mansion. This woman is also known as Kara Zor-El. She's a Kryptonian like Superman. She informs the Barrys that she was sent to Earth to protect Superman, but I guess he never made it to Earth. She has an epic line. "I'm not a human, I'm Kryptonian. Say it like it is, girl." girl. Hell yeah.
Joke's
Boss
over.
bitch
You're
moment.
dead.
And then she
Find
flies
you.
away. Because she doesn't want to help them. They're below her. Screw them. Bruce offers to help Original Barry electrocute himself so he can get his powers back. Supergirl finds Zod. She basically flies directly to his location. Pretty handy, this internal GPS every character seems to have in this movie. She gets there just in time to witness Zod betraying the military. She barely utters no, and hilariously Zod turns because he hears her say this. Like, come on, dude. I know he has super hearing like all Kryptonians, but how could he immediately recognize her
enemy remaining.
voice? She barely uttered one word, and he turns to face her like, oh, hello there. I guess maybe it makes sense because she's so high up in the air, and it doesn't make sense for a human to be that high up. So when he heard the voice, he was like, oh my god, it must be her, I guess. It's kind of weird how they can hyper-focus their hearing, you know what I mean? There's gunfire going all around them, but it doesn't drown out anything for them. They can pick and choose what they hear.
Is it always this loud?
In the next scene, Bruce helps Barry into an electric chair, and they fry the shit out of this dude. And it doesn't work. Like, he's practically dead already. Supergirl arrives. She picks him up and flies him into the sky because she knows what they are trying to do somehow. When did she learn that Barry's trying to get his powers back by electrocution? Anyway, she flies him all the way up into the clouds so he can get up close and personal with the lightning. He gets his ass zapped again, and she flies him back down. Obviously, he gets his powers, but it would be so funny if he just died.
Bring them down.
And doesn't he need these chemicals to splash on him as well? It's not just electricity that does this to him, right? So make it make sense. When they electrocuted him to the chair, they had the chemicals, but it wasn't enough
Spike
electricity.
down, B.
He had to be struck
Last
directly
player
by the
standing.
lightning. Second, Barry spends some time to spray paint an old bat suit red. He saws off the ears and he puts a Flash logo on the chest because obviously OG Barry is going to be using his suit again. So I guess it's very convenient that the Barrys happen to be the exact same size as Batman.
Last
Like, these are
round before the
skin-tight
switch.
suits. The bat
Spend
suits
wisely
are
or
fitted
spend foolishly.
perfectly to Bruce Wayne. It would be very strange for them to just happen to fit Barry. They do. Second, Barry does comment on how it's a little bit looser or something, but it looks to me like it fits pretty well. There's this super cheesy exchange between Barry and Bruce. Barry is trying to convince Batman to join them to defeat Zod. He says, "Are you in?" And then Batman says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts."
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
And he says this with his denture lisp. It's so bad.
find you.
How am I supposed to take it seriously? Oh my god. Supergirl has been a prisoner to the Russians ever since she arrived on Earth. I don't know where she got the Supergirl suit. Who cares about that? Whatever. Zod also says something about terraforming Earth to make it more like
Bring them
Krypton.
down.
He says, "Now let the terraforming begin." But technically, terraforming
Bring
means
them
shaping a
down.
planet like the Earth to make it habitable for humans. So Zod is not trying to terraform Earth, but to cryptoform it. Batman, Supergirl, and the Barrys fly into battle. Supergirl punches a missile that's headed straight for the Batjet. Batman just flies through the explosion. He does do this little spin maneuver with the ship afterwards. And then they start getting fired upon by like a million bullets. And strangely, Batman decides not to do these evasive maneuvers when they're getting shot at. Maybe it's just been a really long time since he piloted this thing, and he kind of forgot how to do it. Why aren't you spinning the ship, dude?
Last
You're really
player
good idea to
standing.
do that right now. The Barrys and Supergirl arrive on the boring, desolate span of flat desert to fight CGI Zod and his goons. There's not a single cactus or sand dune in sight, just flat nothingness. I couldn't think of a more boring
Switching
place to
sides.
have an epic showdown. This scene is a terrible
Momentary
CGI
win.
scramble.
Let us
Even
make it
Barry's face
permanent.
is noticeably fucked looking. Dumbass second Barry gets cut while they're running by a random goon. It's almost like he ran into the sword on purpose or something. OG Barry runs back to save him by vibrating his arm into this guy. It looks so weird. If you can do this whole vibrating thing, then why don't they do it to Zod? It seems like that'd be a really good idea. Eat like 100 Nutter Butters, run up to Zod, and vibrate both hands into this guy's head. I don't think he would survive with two hands in his head, and you can't tell me that he moves just as fast as the Flash. Because later in the movie, second Barry is running around him, and he's like, oh my god, I can't see shit. So why didn't the Barrys try and kill Zod? Very peculiar. Apparently, it's called phasing, when he can go through objects or use his limbs to kill people by phasing his limbs into things. Man, if only Red Rush from Invincible had this power, because then the
Spike
entire show
down
basically
A.
wouldn't happen. Back to what I was saying before. Zod tells Supergirl that they need her blood to remake Krypton. He also tells her that Superman died as an infant. This puts her into a rage, and they fight. Barry is trying to teach second Barry how not to be more of a dumbass than he
One
is.
enemy
This scene
remaining.
tries to convince me that it's good because they play a Jack White song in the background. And I like Jack White's music. I don't know if it's actually Jack White, but it sounds like him. But I'm not fooled, okay? Nice tactic, but it won't work. Unsurprisingly, Batman's jet gets hit. I mean, he clearly doesn't remember how to fly the thing. And the ejection hatch malfunctions. So Batman flies his ship, kamikaze style, into Zod's ship. So yeah, he's dead. Supergirl manages to punch Zod into, like, this steel thing. He gets squished into it. Like an idiot, she thinks that she just defeated him. So Supergirl tries to use his wrist device. And while she's preoccupied, he just stabs her. Must have been a pretty crazy stab wound because Supergirl just kind of lays there and lets them get the KO on her. So that was easy. Supergirl's dead. Second Barry is like, they don't have to be dead, right? So they both run faster than the speed of light to go back in time. Second Barry should know how to do this, right? When original Barry was explaining everything to second Barry in his bedroom earlier in the movie, literally nothing was getting through to him. Like, second Barry's brain is a brick. So that makes this part rather stupid. He shouldn't know how to go back in time. And not only that, this is second Barry's first time ever going back in time, but he immediately knows how to go back a specific amount of time. He doesn't accidentally run back to, like, the Stone Age. He just knows how to do it all of a sudden. Cool. To be fair, original Barry didn't really know what he was doing either. But they solved that issue because random purple guy punched him out of the little portal thing before he could do anything. So the Barrys go back in time just before Batman fires on Zod's ship because they want to save Batman and Supergirl. Of course, Supergirl and Batman die again despite their efforts. Second Barry is desperate to change things, so he goes back again and again but fails every time. Original Barry tries to convince Second Barry that this is an inevitable outcome. He refuses to believe it, and then the purple guy from earlier shows up. He breaks into Barry's time bubble. It turns out this purple guy is another version of Second Barry. This version of him has been trying and failing over and over and over and over and over, and now he looks like this. We then get to see a bunch of different timelines float through space-time, and we get a glimpse into each one. This is when the movie decides to resurrect actors to give them a new horrific CGI or AI appearance. And then, wait, oh my god, is that who I think it is? It is! It's our boy, Nicolas Cage, as Superman. What are you doing in this movie? You guys have seen those pictures, right? When Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman but never did?
I said, who's the producer? And they said, I said, all right, what do I gotta do? They're like, you gotta go meet with him. I said, okay. He's like, I got some directives for you if you're gonna move forward on the process. It's going 3 things. Okay, I said, all right. 1, I don't want to see him in that suit. 2, I don't want to see him fly. And 3, he's got to fight a giant spider in the 3rd act.
But this movie introduces a timeline where he did play Superman, except this isn't actually Nick Cage. It's a CGI abomination. If only they got the actual man to make a cameo, this part would have been legendary. Old-ass Krusty Barry attacks OG Barry, but second Barry saves him. So old crusty purple Barry basically ends up killing himself because second Barry is killed. Original Barry goes back in time again to take the can of tomatoes out of his mother's cart. They share a moment together. It's very touching until you realize that this woman is acting extremely weird with someone she thinks is a stranger, staring lovingly into his eyes. Who does that with someone you just met? This woman is weird. At the very end of this movie, Barry rushes to a courtroom to conclude his dad's trial, showing us that he'll likely be released from prison. And then the girl Iris from earlier in the movie makes an appearance. She asks Barry to ask her to dinner. This is the horniest girl on earth, I swear to God. Barry is the best she can do? Come on, that can't be true. Why does she like this guy? This girl should think Barry is a whack job. He's a weird ass dude that can't be saved. Does she not remember their last conversation together? When he left her in his place and vanished out of nowhere after rambling on about random nonsense? Oh my god. I guess this girl must have a kink for mental illness. That's the only thing I can conclude. You thought we were done throwing old actors into their younger roles? Well, you were wrong. Welcome back, George Clooney. His bat credit card is reaching its limits, so he needed this cameo.
Never leave the cave without him.
The post-credit scene is just Barry talking to drunk Aquaman. It makes no sense.
Harry. I live right here. Look here.
So yeah, that's The Flash. A very dumb movie. There's some cute moments here and there. There's a shit ton of jokes, and practically none of them land.
I should have seen that in slow-mo.
Seeing Michael Keaton in action again as Batman was pretty cool. Even though all of his fighting scenes were CGI, it was still pretty neat. Most of this movie was nonsensical CGI vomit. Yeah, this movie is pretty bad. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out alienclothing.com. That's AYYLIEN clothing.com. We have the coolest clothes imaginable. You'll definitely find something you love. Thank you so much to all my patrons that make videos like this possible. All the people scrolling up on the screen right now, you can join them. Just go to patreon.com/LC. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
There. Still waiting. Over there. Over there. I'll find you. Over there.
No. I hear two.
There. One enemy
Tower
remaining.
one.
Defenders win.
No.
Some call me the Dark One. Others, the Lord of Death. To most, I am known simply as Dracula. Let's eat.
Okay, I know I might be a little bit biased, but I think this movie rules. Nick Cage is back! Let's go! This movie is awesome. I don't care what the critics are saying over on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not biased at all, I swear. I might be a little bit biased. There isn't a Nick Cage cutout behind me. Ever since the Nick Cage Dracula photos leaked online, I was so hyped for this movie because if there's one person who never phones it in, it's Nick Cage. He can be acting in the worst movie imaginable, but he'll always give 100%. Maybe a little bit more than that. Sometimes he acts a little bit too much. In fact, I think his biggest flaw is that he overacts. The man simply tries too hard. But in movies like this, man, it works perfectly. God, it's so good, man. When I first heard about this movie, flashbacks came to mind of his iconic role in Vampire's Kiss. In that movie, he plays a deranged lunatic who believes he's a vampire. In this movie, he's literally a vampire, but he still acts like a deranged lunatic, and it's amazing! Am I overselling this movie? Yes, I am. It's definitely not as good as I'm making it out to be. But was I entertained? Hell yes. I haven't had this much fun watching a movie until Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Damn it! Before that, it had been a while, okay? But Guardians 3 is pretty great. And I gotta say, what a treat this movie was, especially after suffering through all of Velma. I needed this movie so bad, and I'm happy I watched it. This movie stars Nicholas Hoult, Nicolas Cage, Awkwafina, Ben Schwartz, and Shohreh Aghdashloo. Let me just say, casting Nick Cage as Dracula was the best decision they could have made. This man isn't only insane on screen, behind the camera he's a little weird as well. Not too long ago, he claimed his first memory was in the womb.
Earliest memory?
In utero and feeling like I could, see faces in the dark.
You heard that right. Maybe it was the 4th of July or something, and he heard the fireworks. And it gave him pre-birth PTSD. And that's why he is the way he is. I would say overall, this movie is pretty mediocre. But whenever our boy Nick is on screen, you are bound to enjoy yourself. And it's not like he's being a goofball the entire time. There are moments when he's pretty sinister looking, but most of the time he's, doing stuff like this. This movie was directed by Chris McKay, the same man that made the Lego Batman movie, and I hear that's pretty good. I haven't seen it myself. He also made Robot Chicken and The Tomorrow War. Wasn't a big fan of The Tomorrow War. I thought it was pretty forgettable. Aesthetically, this movie looked pretty stunning at times. They were going for this haunting green look because of, vampires, and I think it worked fairly well. There are some pretty awful editing mistakes in this movie, but we'll get there. In the beginning, we're introduced to Robert Montague Renfield, the movie's protagonist. Obviously, because it's called Renfield. Renfield tells us that he's in a destructive relationship with Dracula. The movie then presents us with a flashback. The aspect ratio changes, and it temporarily turns into an old black and white film noir looking movie. I personally love the style they chose to show this flashback because it seems very reminiscent of old vampire movies. Back in the day, Renfield was a real estate lawyer who ended up becoming Dracula's assistant and familiar. And now Renfield carries out his every need. Everybody knows that Dracula's powers come from consuming human blood. Well, Renfield gets his powers by consuming bugs because he's like a less powerful version of Dracula. That part was kind of silly, but whatever. I guess when you consider everything else in the movie, it's definitely not the worst thing. It's kind of silly too because I would definitely prefer Renfield's method of gaining my powers. Gathering humans for their blood must be a massive pain in the ass. Gathering bugs, on the other hand, nobody in society would give a shit and you could do it at your leisure. And there are people out there that eat bugs, so... I mean, maybe in North America you'd be seen as a weirdo, but you could just move to China and be a vampire every day and everything's fine. And not only that, Renfield can go out in the sunlight. I would much rather be Renfield. Even though I'm not as powerful as Dracula, who cares? It's much more convenient living as a familiar of Dracula, which I think is so dumb. Why would they make his familiar better? If you pause the movie during some of Nicolas Cage's action scenes, you'll get a glimpse of his body double, and he looks nothing like Nicolas Cage. There's a part in the beginning when Dracula is being hunted by these vampire hunters. Dracula gets caught in this holy circle thing. Renfield breaks him out of it, so he turns into smoke, enters this guy's mouth, and blows him up from the inside. It's pretty gnarly. Dracula then gets hit by sunlight while killing this other guy, and this is what he looks like after the fight. Damn, bro. You've looked better. Renfield then nurses him back to life because Dracula has him by the balls, even when he looks like a little shriveled up raisin. Renfield attends these anonymous meetings for victims of abuse, and his plan is to kidnap the people that abuse the victims in these meetings and feeding them to Dracula. So it's a win-win, right? He's freeing these people of their abusers, and he's giving these abusers to Dracula. The only problem being, Dracula gets the most power out of people that are innocent and pure, like babies, virgins, nuns, and cheerleaders. Yes, even cheerleaders. A busload of them. Yeah, that's what Dracula asks for. He wants a busload of cheerleaders.
A busload of cheerleaders.
You know, there could be a girl in that bunch that slept around with the entire football team and has multiple STDs. I guess it's like eating a bag of peanuts and one of them is overcooked. You know, just throw that one away. There's this girl at the meetings that's being abused by someone named Mitch. So Renfield goes to kidnap Mitch and his buddies to bring them to Dracula. They're a bunch of scumbag drug dealers that love ska. Yeah, they really like the music genre ska. They try to make that a joke and it doesn't land at all. There's 3 guys in this room, but somehow Renfield knows immediately which one is Mitch. He shouldn't know which one is Mitch, right? I guess he just had a lucky guess. It would have been funnier, actually, if this guy wasn't Mitch, and Renfield's like, hello, Mitch. And the guy's like, what? I'm not Mitch, that's Mitch. And then Mitch, thinking that this is the hitman, goes, I'm not Mitch, that's Mitch. And they all point at each other. I don't know, I think the hitman wants to kill all 3 of them, so that might not work. Whatever, they could have done something to make it funny. How did Renfield know where these guys were located? No idea. He just found them. Okay. Mitch and the other guys hand over the drugs to Renfield because they're confusing him with a hitman that's out to kill them. Renfield then goes, what is this?
What is this?
I guess because he's confused why they're giving him all the drugs and stuff. But the way it was phrased, it made it seem like Renfield didn't know what drugs were. I know that's not what he was actually saying, but they should have changed the line, right? He should have been like, what are you doing? Instead of, what is this? Because he looks directly at the drugs and he's like, what is this?
What is this?
And instead of responding to him like, these are drugs, the guys are like, oh, you're a hitman out to kill us. So Renfield knocks these guys out one by one, but then the hitman that they were expecting shows up and starts fighting Renfield. Wait a minute, back up a second. So if Mitch and these guys were expecting a hitman, why didn't they vacate the area? Get out of there if you think you're about to die. Seems like a pretty logical thing to do, right? Why would you hang around if you knew that a hitman was on your trail? When we're first introduced to them, they're just kind of chilling, right? Listening to music, hanging out. Doesn't make much sense, does it? And this hitman guy is so goofy. Just listen to the way he speaks.
A friend of Caitlin.
Why'd they make him sound like a weird version of Batman or Bane, I guess? This is where the terrible editing comes in. 10 minutes and 50 seconds into this movie, right after Renfield eats some bugs and flips the hitman over, Renfield then pops up a couple feet away from the hitman out of nowhere. It's the sloppiest way I've ever seen an action scene edited in my life. That's probably not true, but it's one of them, okay? That was pretty bad. They couldn't use anything to make this look better? Pretty hard to believe. This is a pretty funny place to hold the fight, by the way. A huge warehouse full of giant statues of random stuff. Anyway, Renfield punches the hitman's head off. Just clean off, and it goes flying. You see this guy? His name is Teddy Lobo. You know how I know? Because the movie really wants us to know that his name is Teddy Lobo. Just listen to this.
I'm Teddy Lobo!
They make sure to tell us that he's Teddy Lobo in the most obnoxious way possible.
Nice stun,
And
bro.
again,
Nice
we get
stun.
a very awkward transition.
stun, man.
Renfield all of a sudden just pops up at a doorway so Teddy Lobo can get a good look at him. He was nowhere near the doorway when he punched the head off, but he's just there all of a sudden. The flow between shots in certain scenes is pretty awful. There's a fairly funny part with Teddy Lobo in this next sequence. He has a shit ton of drugs in his car, and he's about to hit a DUI checkpoint. So maybe he shouldn't have screamed his name out the window when he was driving up to it. But yeah, he exits the car with all the drugs in hand, and he runs away, and he's like, I have a prescription for this shit.
I got a prescription for this shit!
But yeah, what an absolute moron. Why not just cover the drugs with a jacket or something? Although the cops knew who he was, so they would just search his car. Maybe he knew that. Why not just reverse your car? That'd be better than trying to run on foot. And then we get to see current day Dracula. He's recovered a little bit since being burned alive by the sun, but not much. He looks pretty bad. The dude's seen better days. The makeup during this part is pretty great. And he reminds us that he doesn't want to eat trash. He needs pure blood, like that of a cheerleader. But he'd preferably want a busload of them, because what's better than one cheerleader? A busload of them, obviously. And that's very simple for Renfield to pull off. You know, capturing a busload of girls, maybe a couple guys in there. They do make a joke about that in this movie, how it doesn't have to be a female cheerleader, you know. Times are changing.
Do you mean female cheerleaders?
Yeah, I need boys, I need girls.
What do you mean by that?
Awkwafina plays a cop named Rebecca. Her character in this movie is desperate to live up to her father's legacy. Apparently her father was a stand-up cop who pulled off some amazing achievements. He did everything by the book. He was the perfect police officer. So Awkwafina wants to prove herself by taking down the Lobo crime family. So yeah, Renfield's at a bar, and hilariously, a busload of cheerleaders arrives to hang out at this bar. Wow, okay. And then the Lobo crime family shows up, and Renfield helps Awkwafina take them out. After this, Renfield takes a liking to Rebecca. Dracula calls Renfield back to his lair, and this next part is awesome.
Why am I not embracing what I truly am?
Which is?
A god, Renfield. An immortal, insatiable, all-powerful being.
Nick Cage's acting here is so good. He plays a perfectly creepy Dracula. Renfield learns of Dracula's horrible plan to take over the world, like he didn't know that Dracula was a crazy sociopath already, but that was the last straw. Now Renfield wants to find a way out of their relationship. It's a toxic relationship. You're totally taking advantage of our friendship, Dracula. Not cool, bro. You suck. Renfield decides after the meeting that it's about time he grows to full power. There's a pretty funny part during this meeting. Renfield has a eureka moment, and he goes, oh my god, Dracula won't go to full power. And the guy who's hosting the meeting goes, wow, that was great. Why did you phrase it like that? But cool.
Stop looking at his knees.
He won't grow to full power. Exactly. He won't grow to full power. What? That's so weird. Why would you phrase it like that? But yes, he's right.
Now it's time for Renfield to turn his life around by getting a new apartment and going to a spa and buying some new, colorful clothes. Awkwafina's delivery is pretty funny in this movie at times. There's this poor cop named Kyle, and everybody tells him to shut the fuck up throughout the movie. Renfield brings Awkwafina flowers. Kyle says something, and this is how Awkwafina reacts.
Stop, Kyle!
I'm surprised they didn't have a scene of him punching a wall, because, you know, that'd be in character for a Kyle. Teddy Lobo's mom is in charge of this crime family, and her name is Bella Francesca Lobo. She tasks her son and their goons to find and kill Renfield. They use pretty cool tech to track down his whereabouts, and it leads them to the abandoned hospital that Dracula is hiding out in. And this hospital looks pretty awesome. The way they hung all these bags of blood everywhere, the way the room is lit, it's dark and eerie, really green for some reason, but I like the color choice. This is a badass layer for Dracula to hang out in, and it definitely fits his vibe. So yeah, Dracula easily obliterates these drug dealers. There's a pretty funny exchange between Dracula and Teddy Lobo.
Teddy?
I'm Teddy Lobo.
I'm Teddy Lobo.
Last player standing.
I'm Count Dracula. You win.
Teleport's ready.
Teddy explains to Dracula why they're there, and it angers Dracula, because he learns that Renfield is working against his wishes. So Dracula finds out where Renfield is living, so he waits for him in his apartment. This scene also rules. Nicolas Cage's acting here is so good. It's hilarious, it's creepy, it's super entertaining. He's patronizing and sarcastic with Renfield. He's treating him like an object, but also trying to manipulate him. You're a husk.
Because you're a husk.
I love when he did that. Nicolas Cage's delivery really makes this movie 1,000 times better than it has any right being. I feel like the only other actor they could have put in Nick Cage's spot that would have been just as entertaining is maybe Willem Dafoe. I'm sure there's another actor out there that would be pretty great in this role. But yeah, if it wasn't for Nick Cage, this movie would suck, plain and simple. In a strange, desperate attempt to defend himself from Dracula's verbal onslaught, Renfield picks out a book and starts reading from it. Dracula notices a sticker on the book. The sticker leads Dracula to the place where the meetings are held. He goes there to bring an end to the people that are having an impact on Renfield's point of view. Dracula's entrance into this meeting is awesome. He looks very fancy. Look at that top hat and his cane. Very nice. Bloodborne vibes, Bloodborne vibes. Shit! I told you guys that I wouldn't mention that game anymore. It's hard, okay? It's been my entire life for a while. Dracula rises into the air. He tells them all his name.
I am Dracula.
And then he goes, "Let's eat."
Let's eat.
And this next part is brutal. He kills everybody in the room in a matter of milliseconds. I love the way Nicolas Cage decided to make Dracula sound in this movie. I'm guessing the director had some say in his delivery, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, all right, Nick, you're a vampire. Pretend to be a vampire. Now go. Because honestly, with Nicolas Cage, that's probably the best way you can go about making a movie with him, because I feel like if you have too much control over how he acts, then that's when you get the worst performances out of him. You've got to let this guy run wild. There are exceptions, I'm sure. Like in the movie Mandy, I'm sure Panos Cosmatos really did everything in his power to get the best performance he possibly could have, Nick, because holy shit, Nick's acting in that movie is next level. But for the most part, if you want an entertaining Nick Cage performance, you just let him go crazy, you know? So yeah, Renfield is a little bit upset watching all of his friends get killed before his eyes. Rebecca arrives at the scene, finds him standing over 1,000 dead bodies, doesn't really ask any questions about how he did this, because he doesn't have a weapon on him. So it looks like he just ripped them all apart with his bare hands, which obviously wouldn't make much sense, right? How could anybody realistically do this? It's not really possible, is it? Unless these people wanted to die and they just stood there and asked him to do this. Even then, it would take a lot of strength and power to be able to rip people apart like this with your bare hands. But I guess the cops don't care about any of that. They're like, oh my God, Renfield must have done this. Let's arrest him. But the cops don't really care about any of that. Obviously, they should arrest him because he's the only guy standing there in a room full of dead bodies. But the investigation doesn't go much further than that, which is pretty stupid. The Lobos have the cops in their back pocket. So they work together to corner Aquafina, who has Renfield in her car, because the cops want to hand over Renfield to the Lobos. So they corner Rebecca's car to take Renfield in. They even offer Rebecca a promotion. You get better pay, a better parking spot, Kyle's parking spot. And then Kyle's like, hey. And they're like, fuck you, Kyle.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
I know that they're cheap attempts at a laugh, okay, but they work on me. I'm a simple guy. Also, this is a very strange way for the cops and the Lobos to get what they want, right? This whole thing where they try to convince Rebecca to hand over Renfield, it just makes no sense to me, because there's a much easier solution to this. I get that the Lobos want to get Renfield as soon as possible, but it's already nighttime. Rebecca has to sleep at some point. Just wait for her to bring him to the station and then hand him over. Like, what? Now, I know that Rebecca wants to live up
One
to her
enemy
father.
remaining.
And her father was
Last
not a
player
corrupt
standing.
cop. He was a very virtuous man. He always did what was
Defenders
right.
win.
And the cops know this, right? Why would they not expect that trying
It's
to
been a
corrupt
pleasure, my
Rebecca
friend.
would be
Au
kind of a
revoir.
hard task? She's proved to be very hard-headed in the past. She wouldn't just turn her back on everything she believed in for a better parking spot and a little promotion. And the cop should have known this. But yeah, Rebecca is completely suicidal. She's a maniac. She shoots a power line and drives away with 100 guns pointing at her. Which leads me to ask, why does this girl care so much about this guy who she just thinks killed a bunch of innocent people? Who gives a shit about Renfield? Hand him over. Who cares if the cops get him or if the Lobos get him? This guy's a piece of shit. Arguably, he's worse than the Lobos, right? Why would you
Match
risk your
found.
life for this guy that you think just murdered a bunch of innocent people? She doesn't like the Lobos because the Lobos killed her father, okay? That's the big thing. But still! Which makes it even more insane that the cops would think that she would be okay with this. There's another pretty funny moment between Freddy Lobo and Dracula. Dracula starts laughing maniacally after making a proposal to work together. And Freddy has a hilarious reply. Are you happy or are you gonna fuck me up?
Are you happy or are you gonna fuck me up?
Knowing that she's being pursued by the cops and the Lobo crime family, where does Rebecca bring Renfield? That's right, her own apartment. Where else would she go? So obviously these men show up to try and apprehend them. And thus, a battle ensues between Rebecca, Renfield, and these men. And there's a bunch of them, and they're all wearing armor, and they all have guns. Renfield shouldn't have a problem, you know, because he's part vampire. But Rebecca? Yeah, she should have definitely been killed during this firefight. Renfield does some pretty hilarious shit during this part. He rips the arms off this one guy, then uses them to fight off other men. He then throws them like javelins at two other guys that are fighting Rebecca. He rips off one dude's face. Is that a face-off reference? You know, because of Nick Cage?
His face.
Maybe. So yeah, it's obviously not very believable, but it's a pretty amazing fight scene nonetheless. Rebecca's plot armor is insane, but it is what it is. Renfield and Rebecca ready themselves to fight Dracula and the Lobos, because they have Rebecca's sister captive. Yeah, Rebecca's sister is a thing in this movie, but she has hardly any screen time, which is a pretty poor decision, I think. If you're gonna make a character become captive in a movie, you're gonna want the audience to like that character, at the very least, know who that character is, whatever. I don't even know her name. Let me see. What? Oh, apparently her name's Kate. I had to go on IMDb to find that out. Later, we learned that Dracula had turned pretty much the entire Lobo crime family into familiars, aside from Bella Francesca. There's a part when Freddy sniffs a centipede up his nose, and it's pretty gnarly. You know, because he's a familiar now. He has to eat bugs to get his power. I guess Dracula put all these guys in a room, and he was like, all right, now drink my blood, everybody. And listen up, you're all gonna wanna eat bugs now. That's how you get your powers. I know it might be kinda gross, but you better get used to it within the next, I don't know, hour or two. This Freddy guy literally just became a familiar, and he's immediately okay with sniffing a centipede up his nose? That's pretty crazy. This guy isn't all that normal. So Freddy and Renfield fight. Renfield eats a bug, then literally kicks the shit out of Freddy. Yeah, literally. Dracula manipulates Rebecca into joining him as long as he heals her sister. For some reason, Dracula insists on staying in this hallway where blinds can open up and the sun will shine in. So that's pretty stupid. And guess what happens? Rebecca presses a switch that opens the blinds. I don't know how she knew where the switch was and what it was used for. Lucky guess, I suppose. So Dracula is burned and he flies away. Guess how they end up defeating Dracula? In the dumbest way possible. I hate this part. They couldn't be more clever than this? Whatever. Okay, let me tell you how. Remember how in the beginning of the movie, Dracula was caught in that protection circle? Well, Rebecca had read how to make a protection circle off of Wiccan Tumblr.
I got the instructions off of Wiccan Tumblr.
Yeah, Wiccan Tumblr. And she used coke to draw the circle. They kicked the shit out of Dracula. Not literally this time, but definitely figuratively. They use everything in their disposal on Dracula. They end up burning him into an ash. They put his ash into cement cubes and then dump them in the sewer. So yeah, that's the end of Dracula. It would be pretty hilarious if they made a sequel to this movie and somehow he found a way out of these cement cubes. At the very end of this movie, Renfield uses Dracula blood to bring back to life everybody Dracula killed at the meeting. Remember when Rebecca found Renfield there? Yeah, I guess they just left all the bodies sitting in this gymnasium for however long, you know. Some time had passed since then. Maybe they revived them all from the morgue. As far as their families that were informed of their deaths, who cares about them? So yeah, pretty silly movie. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's nowhere near perfect. If it weren't for Nick Cage, I would go as far as to say this movie is bad. But at the end of the day, movies are meant to entertain. I had a blast watching this. I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, but obviously I'm biased. Most people probably give it a 5 or something. Either way, that's my review of Renfield. Will I watch this movie again? Hell yeah. Yes, I will. It's a good time, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you'd like me to review next in the comment section down below. Thank you so much to all my patrons that make videos like this possible. Here are all the names of all these beautiful people who support me. I love you guys so much. If you haven't already, please go check out alienclothing.com. We have a bunch of amazing new designs over there, including this shirt, which is sick as hell. Use code Renfield at checkout to get 15% off your order. This discount will only be active for 48 hours, so use it while you still can. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Silence.
Because Billy decides to be the bigger person, I guess. Billy reaches out a hand for a handshake. Tammy then takes her half-eaten burrito and shoves it into Billy's face. What is wrong with this girl? How is it possible for someone to be this demented? I've met a ton of bullies in my life, and I've been bullied myself. But none of the bullies that I've met have ever been this socially inept. Also, massive waste of a burrito. Jade urges Billy to stick up for herself, and I get that's the message here. Billy should be more confident and stick up for herself because she's a little baby. And then later in the show, she sticks up for herself. She's super confident. She's a changed person. It would have been a lot better if the bully was believable. Older Jade is brought to a scavenger camp that's surrounded by the undead. They tell her that they only take what they can trade.
We only take what we can trade.
And she doesn't question this at all. They took you in, and this guy literally said, we only take in what we can trade. There's nothing happening here, like no light bulbs are going off, I see. I guess they trade everything via helicopter because this place is surrounded by the undead.
How'd you get me here?
Not very convenient. That's a lot of wasted fuel. You should probably move elsewhere. We're then back at the high school, and an unknown person wearing a raccoon mascot head beats up the bully while she's taking a shit. This person then frames Billy by leaving the raccoon head in Billy's locker. Billy just leaves her locker unlocked, I suppose. But then again, we later find out that it was Jade who did this. Kind of fucked up for her to do this to her own sister, and she might know her sister's combination to her locker. That's why she put the mascot head in there. There's a meeting between the parents and the principal of the school. Albert Wesker threatens Tammy's father's job. And as he's doing this, he mentions Google, Apple, and Pornhub.
Google, I want Pornhub to shred them.
It's so awkward. Bill Gates is out there in the world somewhere, in the same world as Albert Wesker. It's just so weird. It is cute seeing Wesker stand up for his daughter in this scene, though. Older Jade explains to the scavenger guy named Tate that the zombies can't see or hear, but their sense of smell keeps improving over time. I guess Jade has done a lot of tests on these zombies. She knows that they can smell things really well. Also, zombies aren't called zombies in this show, they're called zeros.
They're zero strain. I study zeros.
Why do all these zombie shows and movies refuse to call zombies zombies? They're either walkers, spitters, runners, undead, infected, biters, creepers, geeks, roamers, hungries, fleshies, zacks, ghouls, zedheads, zeds, and whatever else you can think of. Surprise, surprise! These guys want to trade Jade to Umbrella. Oh my god. I just want to take a second and talk about the music in this show. I'll only mention the music once, but trust me, it happens throughout the entire show. There's bad music littered throughout this show. It's nonsense. Most of it is licensed, and it's so bad. It comes across so cheesy.
I don't What happened?
Okay.
And I feel like it would be a massive improvement if they just renamed some of the characters, didn't rely on the Resident Evil name for eyeballs, and just made it some random zombie show, and improved the music. This show would be like 80% better, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like it more. Most of the music is atrocious, lo-fi techno pop songs, and they feel incredibly out of place. Billy loves animals. She's a big vegan, and she goes to Daddy's work one day, and she notices that there's bunnies, and they're about to be tested on. She doesn't like this, so Billy and Jade cook up this plan to save bunnies from being tested on in the Umbrella Labs. They steal their dad's key card. Once they get to the Umbrella buildings, they play an audio recording of their dad saying, "Hello, this is Albert Wesker," to enter the building. How'd they get this recording? The only explanation they give us is that the internet helped them.
You know how to get past security cameras.
No, but the internet does.
I have to say that throughout the show, I do like the sisters' relationship with one another. I like how different they are and how they have to help each other throughout the show. They make for a pretty fun dynamic to watch. And this new version of Wesker as an overworked father that has 2 children that he doesn't spend enough time with is kind of weird at first, but if you forget that it's Wesker, it's fine. In the future again, this guy Tate welcomes the Umbrella employee Jack Galifianakis, Zach's long-lost brother, and it's hilarious.
G-Force? More like G, he's fat.
The music is super serious and dark in this scene, but Jack Galifianakis just like stumbles down some stairs, and he has his left tit hanging out of his blazer.
Mr. Tit.
He then kills Tate and has his men gun down the place. They could have easily just been a resource for Umbrella. You know, they help them, they trade with them, but sure, let's just kill everybody because Umbrella is evil. Jade does tell us later that Umbrella doesn't make deals.
You can make a deal.
Umbrella doesn't make deals.
Because, you know, that would be bad for business. You guys know, every successful business, they don't make deals. They never make deals. Young Jade and Billy access the Umbrella Labs and computer files, and they find some harrowing stuff. Oh my goodness. They just turned off the security in this very high security building because the internet told them how, I guess.
No, but the internet does.
You can always rely on good old Google. Because remember guys, Google exists in this universe. And so does Apple. And so does Alien Clothing, baby. Yeah, my personal clothing brand. Go to AYYLIENclothing.com and get some amazing clothes. You guys like that? That was a pretty good segue, wasn't it? They don't show us the girls turning off the security, but it happens. Because trust me, bro.
I made it the fuck up.
There are no guards. Everything's automated.
Jade knows that her dad's password for everything is Spock21, because in this universe, Wesker is a huge Star Trek nerd.
And whose password to everything is Spock21.
You stupid. And their dad was basically just a lab slave until he was released and he adopted some kids, and I guess he just watched Star Trek. It's pretty ridiculous that Jade would know Wesker's password when behind this password is some very sensitive and confidential material. And it's pretty idiotic for a guy like Wesker to use the same simple password for everything and never change it. Billy moronically lets out a Cerberus from its cage. If you're not aware, a Cerberus is just like a zombie dog in the Resident Evil universe. It's kind of weird that the Cerberus wasn't snarling or barking at them when they entered the room. He was a good old boy until Billy's darn camera flash spooked him. Totally makes sense. Yeah, because the Cerberus acted like this in every single other adaptation of Resident Evil. It wouldn't just kind of chill and sit there until you flash it with a camera. But anyway, so the alarm is blaring and the girls are trying to hide away from this Cerberus. There's a cool moment when the dog is standing on a table. It's trying to sniff them out when this Joy Bear prototype hologram is singing in the background. It gives the scene a very eerie and spooky feel to it. The sisters use Albert's key card to enter an elevator, but when they try to exit the building, they can't do so. I guess you can't use the key card to enter and exit the building, it's only used for the elevator. Very strange system. The door is only voice and facial recognition activated. Why couldn't the showrunners just make it simple and let the girls just enter with the key card, and when the dog attacks them, they just drop the key card and run? It would have just made it a lot simpler, but instead they're just standing outside of this door trying to play their dad's audio to open the door. before. Like, the voice doesn't work for some reason, even though it totally should. Maybe the alarm is making it so it can't hear. This would be very inconvenient for the Umbrella workers if there was ever a fire, because the fire alarm would go off and the doors would not be able to hear them saying their names. It looks like all the lights go off when the alarms start, so it's not like the facial recognition thing would work either. Overall, it's not a great system. So the Cerberus finds them and attacks Billy, so Jade beats it to death with a fire extinguisher. In the future, Jack Galifianakis tells older Jade that Billy is looking for her. Instead of finding out what he means by this, Jade basically commits suicide and dives into the field of zeros. They're zombies. At the last second, this one random survivor drives out into the field of zeros and saves Jade. As they drive away, there's one zero chasing them, and he's wearing a pom-pom beanie, and I think it's very cute. It's just flopping in the air. I thought that was a nice touch. Very nice pom-pom beanie, Mr. Zombie Man. Back with younger Billy and Jade, who arrives at the Umbrella facility to save the girls before anybody. Albert Wesker, of course. It's like he's the only dude that works here. Coincidentally, he just happened to wake up and notice that his keycard was missing. It would have been nice if they showed us that happening. Also, Wesker ends up covering for his daughter so they can leave safely. Back with future Jade, the showrunners had no idea what to do with this random scavenger that felt compelled to save Jade for whatever reason, so they had some random zombies kill him. Jade takes the Jeep without any issue and drives away. I think it's a Jeep. I'm not sure what kind of car it is. It's like an SUV. I'm not sure. Back with the younger girls, Wesker saves the day by erasing everything that points to the girls being there before the rest of Umbrella arrives at the scene. We then meet Evelyn Marcus, a big wig at Umbrella. It's implied in this episode that she knows that Wesker's kids were involved somehow, which is a pretty huge leap to take, but okay. When Wesker is checking out the bite marks on Billy, COVID is mentioned.
Will I have to quarantine?
No, it's not like COVID.
Thank you for reminding me of the real world so often, random Resident Evil Netflix show. I appreciate it. Older Jade finds her way to an Umbrella marketplace. She visits a cat lady, and she's looking for her friend Barry. No, it's not Barry Burton, like you would expect. It's just a random guy named Barry. At least I hope it's not Barry Burton, because he's infected and chained up in the bathroom.
Marriage is complicated.
Jade retrieves a helpful notebook full of helpful people from his pocket and leaves. Apparently, Barry's wife was feeding him cats and keeping him alive by feeding him her cats. Ew.
The cat thing? Super fucked up.
Billy is sick from the dog bite. Oh no. Is she gonna die? I hope not. In the middle of watching the show, I went to IMDb and found out that she definitely doesn't die because there's an actress that plays older Billy. So, kinda ruined it for me, but... Younger Jade befriends some nerd named Simon at school to hack through Umbrella's firewall.
My trump card. So yes, iShowSpeed, by his own admission, is partnered with Thumb Media affiliate, and Thumb Media was behind these fraudulent claims. Therefore, iShowSpeed full responsibility for each and every one.
Very well then, I shall announce my verdict. This court finds iShowSpeed.
Objection! I will concede that my client is affiliated with Thumb Media. However, he had nothing to do with these false claims. Objection!
How can you say that? He just admitted it himself.
Objection! My client's far too busy to get wrapped up in all this copyright business. It's obvious that Thumb Media simply misrepresented him. Objection!
It's obvious that Mr. Speed partnered with them of his own volition.
Objection! I object to that statement.
Object to what exactly? Are you suggesting Mr. Speed was forced into this agreement? That Thumb Media held a contract in his face and a taser to his nutsack?
Well,
Think about it this way. Would Thumb Media have made any of these false claims if Speed didn't partner with them?
Well, no. Why would they? If they were never given the right to claim videos by Mr. Speed, then none of these claims would have been filed. That's an excellent point, Mr. Act.
This is the old hired assassin defense. I didn't pull the trigger, Your Honor. It was the assassin I hired to do it. Pardon me. Innocent man coming through. So he is 100% responsible for all of the garbage I'm about to show you. Strap yourselves in, boys and girls. It's about to get ugly. I don't think anybody truly understands the extent of the copyright abuse that's been perpetuated by Cardigan, Thumb Media, Aiden Ross, and iShowSpeed. I mean, just look at how many fucking claims there are.
Here's one. And here's another.
Yeah, look at this one, sick son of a bitch.
Here's a news YouTuber named Omni saying, I'm getting copyright claimed for the speed clip in my latest video. Disputed it and got rejected in 10 minutes by Thumb Media affiliate, who I don't even think exists. Puts my channel at risk of getting a strike.
Oh, that's real nice.
These fuckheads claimed my video and rejected my appeal, and it's not a valid claim whatsoever. They even claimed parts of my original video. They didn't even copyright it correctly. What's that? Someone's filing false copyright claims without filling out the forms properly? Or providing accurate timestamps?
They claimed my whole video when it wasn't even a re-upload of iShowSpeed's content. It was a video essentially covered under fair use. Most of the video was my video, and maybe like 5% of it was iShowSpeed's content. And with them claiming the whole video like they did, even though it isn't theirs, it only gives me the option to appeal it. And I can't like trim out the segments or anything because it's the whole video that they claim.
As I mentioned to y'all before, they claimed 13 minutes of my 13-minute video. They claim my entire video, which isn't just like a, oh, I own this iShowSpeed clip, you can't use this. No, it's the whole video. Oh, and by the way, they're manually claiming. This isn't like an auto-detected claim where you have a music song or a video clip that's recognized by copyright ID. That's 90% of YouTube copyrights. No, the company's manually claiming videos. They're picking literal timestamps and they're just running it.
Even companies like Deserto weren't immune, and 4 of their videos got claimed.
You ready for another one?
Even our boy Mischief got caught up in the crossfire. Hasn't that poor feller suffered enough? Now you might be wondering, Ackman, why not just dispute the claims? There's plenty of reasons, but number one, the claimant is the one who decides if the claim is still valid, not YouTube.
So what happens is that Thumb Media just takes my dispute, basically just tells me to screw off, and then immediately rejects it, right?
And number two, because you might end up getting a strike on your channel should the dispute fail, like Internet Anarchist did. He tried disputing it, and it backfired, which is why you'll see some channels that get claimed not even bother to dispute it. They just take the fucking hit, which is so unfair.
Thumb Media affiliate has decided that their copyright claim is still valid. Great system. So, based on absolutely nothing, the claimant can just decide that their claim is still valid. I wish I could decide that my counterclaim was valid. Why can't I decide that?
Now, for clarity, a claim takes the money and leaves the video up. A strike takes the video down. But there's a third option, which is quite rare to see, and that's blocking the video in certain countries or worldwide. The case of Brion is especially interesting because his video was one of, if not the only one, that got blocked worldwide. At one point, either iShowSpeed or someone close to him used the Content ID system to censor one of my videos, and they blocked it worldwide on a video I made talking about the crypto scam he did. That's bizarre. The Content ID system doesn't normally block videos. It just claims them and takes the revenue. So was this done intentionally?
He basically will block the videos worldwide. He'll go and claim videos that are exposing him and bad things that he has done, like the crypto scam that he was promoting around a few months ago. And he will go and block those videos worldwide so that nobody can see the videos, just blatantly censoring people and suppressing them because they called him out for something that he did that was bad.
Hey Aiden, I got a great idea. Let's use this new scam to silence people talking about our old crypto scam. That's a great idea, Speed, and nobody will ever know we're the ones behind it. Yeah, not unless we tell them, which we will, cause we're fucking idiots.
That is me. Like, this guy's an actual dick sucker, bro, so he deserves to get copyrighted. He's a dick sucker. He deserves it, chat. He knows what he's doing. He's using my own content to make me look like a bad guy.
What a crime.
Brion also said to me in a DM, I recently had pretty much all of the claims dropped by Thumb Media after disputing the fuck out of them. I had lost some revenue made from the videos because these claims were on the videos for months. So even though the claims were released, he still ended up having money taken from him on at least 3 different videos. This is like telling your boss, hey, I didn't get my paycheck for the last 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, okay, sorry. And then he just walks away. What? Pay the man! This happened to another YouTuber, a Cheeto, who lost at least $100 on one of his videos. I could use Cheeto right now to wash the case copyright abuse out of my mouth.
Now, full transparency, Aiden Ross copyright claimed my video and took $111 from me, which isn't that much. I mean, I'll live, but it's bullshit because it's only one clip of his stream in my entire video. And on top of that, the clip that I played from him, I edited pretty thoroughly. So it's not even his content at that point. I've edited it, it's original, it's commentary, it's not his, dude. It's not his for you can't take my money out of it.
Now, I appreciate that the media is releasing the claim and trying to make it right. But guess what, Cowboy? It doesn't mean a whole lot when you only do this after it blows up in your face. If
it in.
Everyone indiscriminately. You guys know Scarce, right? He made a video covering iShow Speed about 6 months ago. And 3 months ago, Scarce was covering the copyright story. And that's when something really, really funny happened.
And that's right. Why was Speed potentially claiming a bunch of YouTubers' videos? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Clearly, this guy's very successful. He makes a ton of money. But for some reason, other YouTubers' videos were getting claimed by him. Okay, so while I was editing this video, we just received copyright from some media affiliate on one of our recent videos. I'm not joking. This is a huge coincidence.
That is one trained in the force. You know the truth.
We just received a copyright claim from one of the things that we're talking about in this story.
That's what Shakespeare could write a more special title. Scarcely
is gone.
Shit, man. You can't even discuss what this motherfucker had for breakfast.
Can't stand the heat? Get out of my kitchen!
I mean, even scared
Mamma mia, not again!
By the utter chicanery that is on full display.
So I'm wondering if this is actually Speed? What is going on here?
By the way, all of the claims I'm talking about and showing you have nothing to do with Andy Ross. About the iShow Speed things. That's why I'm making 2 videos, because boy, oh boy, we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
We got a long way to go.
There's a couple cases that stood out to me because they're super fucked up. And one of them is with a channel called Just Maddie X. She made this video, clips that made iShow Speed famous. It's a reaction video spliced with some commentary, definitely fair use. Maddie has 32,000 subscribers, so posting a video that gets is a huge deal. Any creators watching this that have hit that milestone, you know how awesome that feels. In fact, this is Maddie's most popular video, and she keeps it by
definitely have to work more iPhone speed.
He's funny as fuck. I totally love this. That is the final message. So you know what Speed does? Seriously, I want to
Hit him with that secret song!
And then he said this. Here you go, Maddie.
Think you
This
gonna
is
just
for all your hard
pass
work
away
on the
like
latest
that?
video. Here's your $7. Courtesy of I Show No Remorse for illegally copyright claiming videos. She got paid $7
meatballs
for a
is
video
better than
with
one.
475,000 views.
Scaring the people that support me doesn't make sense. That's biting a hand that feeds you.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
And get out of my sight. I actually have a video with around that many views. And you know what I made from it? $700. That's what Maddie should have made. And you all thought Quantum was a dick for having 67K subs and picking on a channel with 3,000? Try this ratio on for size. 60 versus what a dick. But wait, it gets worse. No.
Ally has been a slave.
Enter internet This was the perfect time to submit another dispute. And would you look at that? The claim was reversed. I wonder why it wasn't reversed the first time. It's almost like generating huge amounts of controversy spurred Thumb Media into reversing their illegal copyright claim. Funny how that always works.
Your time. Wait!
There's what? Because even though the claims were released, Thumb Media still took the revenue from it. Yeah, we admit we fucked up, and this was a false claim, and we fucked up on the first dispute we submitted. But we were still keeping your money, though, so thanks for that, asshole. Hey, Speed, I just stole another $700. Yeah, bro.
Put a W in the chat. We stole $8,000 from him. W. W, yes.
W in the chat.
The immortal out.
But wait, it gets worse. This is why I'm focusing so much on this game.
Okay, so maybe a little softy in her
It's
sound.
what some of her fans are asking for. Like the viewers she got want to see more
Ally
of this
has
type
been
of
slain.
content. But she can't make that type of content anymore.
Compliment. Yeah.
So, way to go,
Compliment.
Y'all don't know what I do for y'all, bro. I do so much stuff for y'all, bro. I'm not a scammer, bro. A day of my life, I would never scam you guys. Just remember that, bro. A day of my life. I care about you guys so freaking much, bro.
So that was a fucking lie.
You see, the more insidious side of false claim videos like this, it can actually corroborate the channel. Compare this to what happened to Totally Not Mark, except, you know, this is on a much smaller scale, where he got hundreds of his anime videos claimed in an instant. Like, what the fuck was he supposed to do? Just stop making the videos people subscribe to him for? It's not the one claim that's always the biggest threat. It's how many claims are going to come after that? What's going to happen to my channel if I keep making this type of content? Should I even bother doing it? Will I get But if you were a fuck bastard, you wouldn't think about these sort of things.
I love y'all, bro. I would never in my life do that, bro.
That's a little puffy and so. Mamma mia, not again!
To me, Matt described himself as one of the most informative creators.
Have reached your
Controlling Zoom calls. It's no different than using a soundboard for a prank call or those old ventrilo harassment videos. So you'd have to be a real douchebag. I Show Speed is a real douchebag. Find the video and things are good at playing. It wasn't just a clip. It was the entire thing, which of course makes no sense. This man himself is in the video. He submitted a dispute detailing his argument for fair use using the maximum character limit allowed by YouTube. The claim was withdrawn overnight, and Matt went to bed that night happy that all was settled. He awoke the next morning to find Christmas had come early and he was apparently on set for not because there were 3 new my argument. Slightly better jokes to actually try to claim content. That's right. Thumb Media came up to Matt. They shot him once, started to leave, then saw he was limping away. They turned around and then fired 3 more shots. What the fuck? One claim was made because of a 12-second clip, another 8 seconds. 8 seconds of a 16-minute video. All the revenue. Because that by Thumb Media. 20 million. That's channel has
Okay, so maybe a little soft in her sound.
Of all the revenue this guy's channel has made.
Why in the hand that taking out the money, at least if he's gonna get my money, that's not a big deal.
Because that money isn't his. You hear how defeated Matt is at this point?
While I am going to let them have some of my money and I fight these claims, it's going to have to go 1 week at a time, and I'm probably not gonna upload for a few weeks because why would I want to post a
Not again!
Stealing other creators' money. Channels in jeopardy. He's also time it takes
Don't come back again!
to send to YouTube staff on Twitter and
I made an 8-page document supporting my case and just providing evidence of every single case of people that these guys have messed with, Cardigan Media, Thumb Media, and I guess I Show Speed, considering he actually is working with them. As I said, the reason why I haven't dropped in the last like 40 days, I had to spend the last 2 weeks looking up all my rights, all the different routes and pathways I could do to go through the situation without losing my channel, which still is up in the right now.
Ally have been a slave. You must be a walker on the meat.
So many claims they can cause because he wants to
Orders out! Fresh and juicy! Mio, this is overcooked!
Impersonating Speed.
This was a big deal last summer because nobody believed that iShowSpeed had anything to do with these claims that were being mass spammed on his videos. And at the time, I didn't either. I mean, surely the kid who has blown up the most organically, probably in the history of the internet, surely that kid wouldn't be claiming all of the videos of people who use his memes, content for fair use commentary, the people who put views on him, the TikTokers, the plug channels, his own fans. Nah, surely that would not be him. Nobody thought it was iShowSpeed because did not know what was going on, and I figured that was fairly obvious and easy to believe.
Matt never believed that Speed was behind this. Talk about the ultimate betrayal, man. When iShowSpeed learns this, he will take your head when he learns. Fool. He ordered me to do that. Said there's something really important about this video. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play my trump card, the final piece of Exodia. When Speed was behind the claims, it came as a surprise, but there was something even more perplexing. Why would you admit it?
The thing is, what I don't really understand is why Speed self-reported and so pushing as well. So it's really hard to tell why exactly Speed did that video. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so maybe a little too better than one.
They looked into who was behind the false claim, and that's when they realized it was Thumb Media, and that Speed had never disclosed his affiliation with them. So to everyone else,
it's a party of four.
You to disclose your affiliation with Thumb Media because not doing so is fucking illegal.
Stop! You violated the law.
And this is the most damaging part of everything because when he finally addresses it, he avoids all accountability, any responsibility. You hear how he phrases things?
YouTube asks y'all to stop spamming about these emails.
YouTube asked you guys to stop spamming, to stop asking. This is your fault. YouTube wants you to stop asking. Look, fuck you.
Buon appetito!
I should has no issues stealing money from his audience and from people that talk about him and lying about it through his fucking Speed knew from the very beginning what he was doing.
How do I stop this happening?
Liar! It's why he said he couldn't talk about it at all.
Can't talk about that, move on.
It's why he hasn't admitted to doing anything wrong. He was hoping you all would just forget about this and brush it aside like all his past controversies ain't happening, dipshit. Not while the act attorney still lives and breathes. It's why this video is as short as possible and posted on his smallest YouTube channel. Because it's strategically the best way he could fulfill
ally has been a slave.
YouTube while minimizing the amount of damage and flack he would get for it. Mr. Krabs would be embarrassed by how greedy you are. I respect people that eat their own shit more than I respect So that's what I say, we keep going.
I am sick of these guys fucking you guys please I've never seen nobody, bro. I know, bro, they think I'm a fucking scammer. I'm not a fucking scammer. I never scammed nobody. Right? It's kind of pissing me off, bro. All these dumbass people keep making these videos for my scam. I never scammed nobody. They don't know the truth, bro. That pisses me off. Man, I didn't scam nobody, bro. I never, literally. Just know that, bro. I didn't scam nobody.
shit stain on the face of YouTube.
That
Don't
was
ever let him
sorry
forget.
and
And
joke.
he stole $700.
An enemy has been slain.
Is there a way
Two
Speed can even make
meatballs.
this right?
Better than one.
Well,
You
the right
think
thing to
you're
do
gonna
would
just
be to reach
pass
out
away like that? Special demons intended us.
apologize, beg for their forgiveness,
You threw
and
the
pay
pizza
them
pie at his
triple
face.
what he stole from them.
Last summer, we unfortunately had 2 rogue employees that went on a copyright claiming spree without any express permission. And after learning of it, we promptly fired them. So you see, Thumb Media and Aegis did all they could to prevent more false claims.
Objection!
What a bunch of malarkey.
Objection! No false claims were made, and automatic claims can't detect fair use videos. You've got no case, Mr. Act. When creators follow the correct process provided by YouTube, then these claims will be released if the videos are fair use. Objection!
Buon appetito!
Answer me this, Mutar. The false claims got reversed, and this truly has nothing to do with stealing other creators' revenue. Then can you explain why Thumb Media has yet to repay creators like Matt Radiant and Just Matty X?
Well, it's because Thumb Media doesn't owe them anything. They didn't file the dispute in the proper time, and therefore, Thumb Media retains the revenue. The fault lies solely on the creators who had their videos claimed, and not Thumb Media or iShowSpeed.
Why would any of these creators risk getting a strike or their videos blocked worldwide? The facts are incontrovertible. Thumb Media was deliberately stealing money from them on behalf of iShowSpeed.
It's not possible. No. No!
That's enough. I see no reason to further prolong this trial. The defense has failed to give the court sufficient reason to doubt the prosecution's claims. On the charge of copyright abuse on YouTube, the court finds the defendant iShowSpeed.
Now, I want to take this next section to talk about Content ID and if it's ethical for other creators to utilize it. What is the Content ID tool? Basically, a company puts their copyrighted material into a database. For example, every single Eminem song is going to be in this database. And it's like APHIS, the system they use to track criminals' fingerprints. Almost every time these automatic claims are made, creators are alerted to this before they post the video, so they have a chance to identify the problem, change it, cut it out, do whatever. The problem with Thumb Media and iShowSpeed is that there is no grandfather system, right? If you made a video about Speed or Aiden Ross in the past, and then 5 months later they decide to upload those clips you used into the Content ID database, you're screwed. Content ID isn't accessible to YouTube because you need to placate companies into a just to get away with what we do here. Remember what happened to Napster? We obviously don't want YouTube to face another billion-dollar lawsuit because if YouTube fails, then we all have to go back to the shitty jobs we left in order to pursue this. And this is why 99.9% of all creators have agreed not to mess with copyright, not to treat it like a fucking wonder weapon, because on YouTube, we should all be able to hate each other and coexist. So you might be asking, well, if Content ID is made for companies to protect their work, then isn't it perfectly fine for large creators to do the same? Technically, yes. Technically, you could. It's a terrible idea, but you could. How come I can't think of a single large creator that has partnered with a company like Thumb Media and used Content ID to mass flag videos? Why hasn't Mr. Beast done this? Did you ever think about that? You know how much money he would make through Content ID?
Loads of money.
The reason why no big creators use Content ID is because the margin for error is bigger than the fucking Titanic. And everyone seems to understand this, except these greedy glue sniffers. Not even Rice Scum, Jake Paul or Logan Paul have gone down this route. Not even fucking J-Station, to my knowledge. J-Station, one of the most reviled, despised creators in YouTube history. And not even he broke this golden rule, at least to my knowledge. The point is, despite how controversial or degenerate some creators might be, there is this common agreement. Copyright is a holy sanctum and no blood should be spilled in these halls.
Are you reacting to and transforming a piece of content? But even after all that legal stuff, you have people saying there is just an unspoken agreement between creators. You don't do this, right? And not just between like big colleagues, but especially with small creators. If this is outright theft, you're just taking a piece, you're not doing anything to it, you're putting it somewhere else and you're monetizing it. Yeah, I get that, but when something is fair use, you fucking leave it be. That's scumbag behavior. And when you people like Aiden Ross so transparently celebrating this, fuck that person. You're gonna have hangers-on who just kind of want to, you know, siphon all that clout, but there is a genuine hate for people like this in the industry.
I never once in my entire YouTube career have thought about claiming or striking anyone because it's the equivalent of like blocking someone on Twitter. It's the equivalent of losing an argument. You just don't do it.
I personally don't care if there's things like copyright, occasionally an I'll get tired of them. But I've never claimed them for YouTube's system because I think
like for instance, this guy known as Big Boss now I can go out to content I can claim or copyright claim or threaten this person. No, I feel pretty humble that they're watching this content. First,
why is it that guys who openly show cryptocurrency scams to their audience are now part of mass claiming videos via content ID? True coincidences sure are rare.
But as one trained in the Force?
I'm just saying, the last time we saw content creators on a channel this size try to pull a stunt like this, their reputation was permanently damaged and they became a lolcow amongst the community. That channel was called The Flying Ground. I made a video on news media and video games. Charlie Moist Critical streamed his reaction and uploaded a cut-up version of his reaction to his channel, which doesn't include my entire video. This channel reposted his entire reaction, therefore reposted my video as well. It's not affiliated or approved to do this by Charlie or I. It's got half a million
beverage cart. Drinks are not complimentary, though you'll wish to God they will be.
If I had an insatiable appetite for money, I might consider doing that. But will Charlie or I ever claim this video? No! Because we'd rather focus on making new content than worry about what people are doing with our old content. But this is the fundamental difference between all of us and the fucking copyright abuse bros. They dived into Content ID because it's a business venture to them. It's just another stream of revenue in their eyes. It just so happens this revenue is coming from their fans for the record, I live vicariously through reactions to my videos because I'm just happy to see people appreciate and enjoy all the hard work I put into this bullshit. So go hog wild. I will never claim or strike a reaction video to my content. The point is, there are very good reasons why large creators don't use Content ID, and these two don't get it, and they don't care. You see, up to this point, we've been able to move on from all these controversies, largely based on the "he's just a teenager" excuse. That only goes so far.
I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I'm very young. I every situation I grow, you know,
Okay. People have to be stupid enough to believe you, but they have to opt into your skin. As the natural selection. When you fuck with this many channels, when you fuck with people's livelihoods, when you screw with all these people who have done you no wrong, all your past apologies and excuses go right in the dumpster.
You know, I'm not that smart, I'm be honest, bro. But as I go, I get smarter and smarter, bro.
You follow in the footsteps. That's the answer. So with Speed's guilt firmly established, I have some of the old case files in front of me. Like this incident that got Speed permanently banned on Twitch when he was doing a little dating stream with Aiden Ross.
Alert 5, ready to scorch for burn. Main engine burn.
If they were the last two people on Earth. No, actually, he didn't say that.
Time,
You're
all
right.
electronics should be set to airplane mode.
But
this
remember,
means you
we have his chat log.
We captured the zone. What a great career.
No, because that means our kids will have to intertwine and then their kids, no.
Who gonna stop me?
Oh, okay. You had me go in there for the first part, the second half. Dude, she's out in the middle of nowhere with some dude she barely knows. Oh, there's nowhere for me to run. What am I gonna do, say no?
Who's gonna stop me?
I will.
If we the last two people on Earth, who gonna stop me?
Okay. Bro.
Wings out.
because if the girl said no. But the thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
You're not stopping me! We the last two people on Earth who gonna stop me!
Why aren't you understanding? She doesn't know whether she has to have sex with her. That's not an issue.
We the last two people on Earth who gonna stop me!
A bullet, Speed. A bullet. And this is that the answer you're looking for? Is this implying to force yourself on her? Is that the punchline? I guess so, because apparently this joke was so hysterical. It was so funny. He had to tell it 3 more times.
If we're the last two people on Earth and we had to reproduce to make the world, would you reproduce with me?
No, I'm not that type of girl.
Who gonna stop me? If we the last two people on Earth, who gonna stop me? If we were the last two people on Earth, would you reproduce on me? I just like it. If we the last two people on Earth, would you reproduce on me? If we the last two people on Earth, would you reproduce on me? Who's gonna stop me? We actually do some good joke here. Well, sir,
So why is he always signing for Well, because Matt clearly doesn't approve of what Dennis is suggesting. Then, of course, there's the Paradox cryptocurrency scam being promoted, where he said he was going to be Cristiano Ronaldo and give away PS5s. That motherfucker Ronaldo. What the hell are you saying? Cristiano Ronaldo? The imposters are everywhere. But the reason I think this scam is how it ties in with Speed's actions with copyright. It illustrates a pattern of greed. As Speed's aggressive style of humor isn't something I find particularly funny or entertaining. If I want to be entertained by someone shouting and being angry, I brew a cup of tea and I watch Gordon Ramsay like a sophisticated adult.
I ask the fucking questions, you give the fucking answers.
But humor is subjective. Still, I don't really see the humor in going to a zoo and shouting at monkeys in a cage. Some might argue that he's simply having a heated discussion with the monkey, but it's something that just because we're all kind of curious about the monkey's reaction, but nobody actually does it. Nobody fucking like shakes the cages and screams at the animal. For one, because it's pretty obvious. You don't want to look like a fucking maniac. Speed with the next one. You're on a stream, man. Like, you saw no problems with that? This is some weird shit, man. Yelling at animals in a cage? And you think that's funny? Cringe. Isn't it enough that they're already locked up for your amusement? Anyways, another classic clip that detailed Speed's comedic genius was when he was live streaming at the World Cup. And he went up to a Chinese classic
ready for burn. How copy? Burn is
Why you got an Argentina, bro? Konnichiwa? 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 Argentina! White.
Obviously, he wasn't being a sociology professor to realize this is pretty racist. So explain yourself, Speed.
I try to say, so I try to say, it's a nickname that they call me, China.
Objection!
If you try to say John Paul, then you're more illiterate than Aiden Ross, because what came out of your mouth was...
White.
So I try to say John Kong.
White.
So I try to say John Kong.
White.
John Kong.
White.
John Kong.
White.
I don't know why you guys think I meant that in a racist way.
Again, he's trying to gaslight his audience. He was thinking they're wrong. Bro, you said boing, choing, choing. The only thing you didn't do was this. Apologizing for something, and they give you like 15 different excuses you didn't ask for. Doesn't that come across as exceedingly desperate to convince you they're sorry?
I thought he was Japanese, so I say konnichiwa. I watch a lot of anime. And if it came off as racist, I promise you,
I did not mean it that way. You know, I got adrenaline pushing. I'm making content, live streaming. I'm at the World Cup, watching Ronaldo play, adrenaline pushing.
Hey, yo, Speed, I totally get it, man. I feel you. Sometimes when I'm at the gym and I'm doing my curls and the adrenaline starts pumping, the racism just starts pumping out of me too.
All Mexicans sing about is tacos. Why are their backs so sweaty? Silito Lindo is a terrible song. We need a bigger wall.
Hey guys, I just wanted to address the allegations. There's a clip going around that I just shared with you like 15 seconds ago.
Considering yourself lucky,
that I'm
there are
racist
more creative ways to
Mexicans
die.
and stuff. That is not me. That is not me. When I said we need a bigger wall, what I actually meant to say was Tango un gato in mi pantalones. That is not me. I love Silito Lindo. It is my favorite song of all time. So, yeah, I'm not being racist, even though what I said was explicitly racist. That is not me. So I apologize for that. Fuck you, by the way.
And again, it's one thing to make racist jokes in the privacy of your friend group or whatever, but you don't do this shit publicly. You don't go up to some random dude in real life on a live stream and yell boing choing choing at him. It's just racist, okay? So, in conclusion, iShowSpeed is a copyright abuser. I think he's been a piece of shit this whole time, to be honest, and he could put on a pretty face and apologize and move on, but those apologies don't mean anything. They don't mean jack shit. Will justice be served? What does justice even look like in this scenario? I don't know, man. That's a lot of abuse to just let fly under the radar. I think he and Thumb Media should be permanently excluded from using Content ID on YouTube because of this abuse, at the very least. You know, so long as the rest of the world knows, now and forever, that iShowSpeed is a copyright abuser, and I feel I'll have done my job. And I hope YouTube does something to fix these copyright issues that continue to plague the platform. But I feel like a broken record saying that at this point. At the end of the day, the case of iShowSpeed is honestly quite tragic because he had it all, and at such a young age. He had every opportunity to become one of the all-time GOATs on YouTube. You were given a goose that laid golden eggs, and you earned that goose, but you wrung its neck. But I guess that's what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you.
Object, check, object, object, check, object, object, check, object, check, object, check, object, check, object, object, check, objection, check, check, objection.
Objection. On my limit.
Right now, scientists studying coral
start rolling with all these claims and accusations, literally living up to every gamer stereotype that you could possibly imagine. And you want to literally prove my point by being that literally loser. You're literally like a shut-in loser that like does this. And these people are literally like, bro, like they are literally scumbags. They're like literally the textbook definition of like a bad human being. Like, you know, you want to sit there and you want to act like I'm some bad human being, you can get bent, dude. Look at you. Literally look at what you're doing.
For me, I'm already dead.
Maybe that's why you don't have a ring on you. Maybe that's why your kids aren't around. Because maybe there's something wrong with you. At the end of the day, go kill yourself. Because maybe there's something wrong with you.
A game that's not for everyone isn't a game.
Maybe there's something wrong with you. Maybe there's something wrong with you.
There's something wrong with you.
Maybe there's something wrong with you. Literally, look at what you're doing. Maybe there's something wrong with you.
Alright, I'm recording this after the fact just to give a fair warning. This video is pretty expensive. None of it comes from me. Trust me, it all has a so here we are. You take the video off this video, go to bed, wake up, everything's the same.
Is getting better every
Take
day,
the red pill,
right?
and I show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Court is now in session. A false copyright strike and takedown request was recently filed against my channel. Take a guess by who? Matt Haas. Nope. Derek Savage. Nope. Quantum TV.
You guys want to have your fun with Quantum TV? Have your fun in this point. I mean, I'm kind of...
So you think it's fun? The star of my Elden Ring Hot Takes video. If you haven't watched it, it'll be linked in the description. That video is going to remain public, and it will remain public forever.
So since what is his name here? The Act Man? Never heard of you. And we're going to go over your so-called hot takes, which contains a lot of stolen footage, and which, by the way, I'll look into my options around getting that taken down.
Any further attempts to falsely copyright strike my channel will be met with a counter lawsuit in which I will clean you out.
When you start the illegal battle, because you're telling the copyright holder, fuck you, I can do what I want. Fuck you, I can do what I want. Fuck you, I can do what I want. Fuck you, I can do what I want.
I've also been updating fans curious about this because it is a big deal. But follow me on Twitter, I've been posting stuff and details there. This has gotten so far out of control, I have no choice but to unleash my true power as the Act Attorney. And although I have no legal authority as a lawyer, that's the end of that sentence. If you're curious about how copyright enforcement works on YouTube, Mudahar made a great video summing up the ramifications and what is actually at stake.
Again, once you file this claim, somebody else can counterclaim you, and then it becomes a legal issue. If it turns out that you're actually abusing this for your own benefit, just to hide criticism, and you've actually taken down legally fair use content, this bites you on your ass. This is not authorized by the copyright owner, its agent, or the law. The law, okay? That includes fair use dealings, fair use law. If you were to take this video to a fucking courtroom, the judge would say this is fair use, okay? But even though fair use is a gray area.
You know, normally reacting or commentating on someone else's video as part of a critique falls under fair use. And generally speaking, pretty much everyone on this platform understands that, because if we didn't, then we would just be taking down all people's videos that we don't like all the time. And so, while editing the Hot Takes video, I made sure to edit as much of the original Quantum TV clips as I could.
That's why I'm very confident that what you guys do and your takedown journalism of other YouTubers and other creators is not only not fair use, but it's YouTube's textbook definition of cyberbullying and harassment.
Objection!
What I posted was fair use, and YouTube agrees with me, which is why they rejected the copyright takedown. Keep in mind, in this legal document, not only is it false, but he didn't even bother to fill it out properly. The link to his video is missing, and he wrote the wrong title for the videos he was claiming. I have the original titles here. I will put them on screen. If you send a DMCA takedown notice that is both false and meant in bad faith, such as to harass or doesn't state a real claim, you have committed perjury.
Take that!
You posted these to YouTube. You can't file false claims and lie in the claim. You absolute lie. You can't beat the Act Attorney, man. I played in my last video, I said this. It's like a rabbit hole we don't even want to go down. Unfortunately, now we have it. Some people might ask, well, why are you making this video? Why are you giving him exposure? I understand your concerns with respect to the entire YouTube platform. By the way, he's not gaining much of a following or viewership from all of this controversy. And my end goal is the termination of his YouTube channel for routinely abusing copyright, violating terms of service, and the YouTube community guidelines. All of this that is outlined, I'm going to show you evidence of how Quantum TV has violated all of it. But let's start at the beginning.
Amazing. Let's give a shout out to Mischief. And there are all these people saying that I falsely attacked some young kid. Everybody loves to put his age out. The moment I mention it, why are you so obsessed with his age? I don't care, he's a minor. Leave it alone.
For some reason, he's really obsessed with the age of Mischief.
Like, nobody gives a shit about his age. He's being a piece of garbage. People like Mischief, who apparently is a young child. Maybe Mischief's mother might want to get in on this. All the negative press you've seen on me is because I reviewed a game once, didn't like it, some 16-year-old. This is said 16-year-old. 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid from the UK. Mischief, the 16-year-old kid. You're not some young 16-year-old kid on the internet. There was a 16-year-old kid. This kid. He's a 16-year-old. There's a 16-year-old kid. This is a 16-year-old kid on the Mischief is the chief orchestrator behind this entire thing. This is all about Mischief, who's orchestrating this. He's running to every YouTuber he can. And again, it's always orchestrated by this one little shit. He is whining and lying to everyone he can. I mean, I'm so fucking tired of this little kid. I swear to God, even with this motherfucker right now. All this started because of some 16-year-old kid. Just one little shit. Mischief. And the thing that really gets me the most annoying is it all started with mischief. Like, nobody gives a shit about his age.
Quantum TV is right. This all started with mischief. He uploaded a video critiquing Quantum's first review of Elden Ring. The man was not pleased.
He's the exact type of channel which makes you consistently have to sit what the actual fuck is wrong with this man? Even though he himself is more than happy to follow people in now deleted replies to my community posts. I want to clear up one or two things regarding why I myself took down the video initially. First of all, at the time I think it says fuck this, I'll deal with it later and so we took it down.
So Mischief took his video down because he didn't want to deal with that, and Quantum celebrated his victory and retract his claim.
You steal videos and you lie through your fucking teeth. This guy is going around fucking mind he's saying I'm violating YouTube terms of service and he's bullying me. He's playing the fucking victim. Let me put this on the screen for every motherfucker right now that needs to see this shit. This little turd literally pulled his own video.
Yeah, because he probably doesn't want to get a fucking copyright strike.
But the damage and intent was made apparent to the rest of us, because we all understand the gravity of using copyright against other content creators. This is something that will naturally draw people's attention, especially if it is being abused.
This is all about Mischief, who's orchestrating this, who's running to every YouTube channel.
Objection! Mr. TV, I'm afraid I must expose your ignorance. For you see, Mischief never orchestrated any attack against you. Take a look at this screenshot. Would you kindly take a look at this screenshot? I wouldn't recommend making a video on that Quantum guy. Well, Mr. TV, care to explain how Mischief could be orchestrating a cyberbullying campaign against you at the same time he's telling the rest of us not to go after you? Because I'd love to hear an explanation. Or do I smell a contradiction? You're only blaming Mischief for all of this because he made the first video. This has all been a facade to silence criticism about you. You have it backwards. Mischief didn't reach out to me. I reached out to him. As you can see in these DMs here. Make no mistake, Quantum, your takes were so bad. They were the worst I've ever seen. But you are the only one responsible for escalating the situation. You used your platform, your standing to routinely harass Mischief.
I mean, I'm so fucking tired of this little kid. I can't deal with this motherfucker right now. Right, I'm the bad guy here. For telling some small punk that wants to steal and just shit on him.
The only one stealing is you, because you're stealing everyone's fucking intelligence.
The fact that Mischief was 16, 17 just made it shittier because he's young. Because someone like that could easily be manipulated by someone like you. But that's a smart kid, man. I mean, he's only 16 years old and you couldn't get the best of him?
And a lot of these smaller channels, 200 subscribers, 400 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers, that tier of lower YouTuber, amazing. Let's give a shout out to Mischief.
You know, that is a great idea, Quantum. For once we agree on something, everybody go subscribe to Mischief. Let's get him to more subscribers than Quantum TV so we can see who the real lower tier YouTuber is. Wouldn't that be amazing? Subscribe to Mischief for justice. Never in your wildest dreams did you expect someone like Mischief to have a powerful ally like me. But against scum like you, I'll always try to be there to clean up the streets. It's funny, isn't it? The old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. While I may not like what Griffin Gaming has to say about some of my videos or my Vanguard review, who cares about any of that? This is way more important. YouTube is a platform where we should all be able to hate each other and coexist. You threaten that, Quantum.
They smack talk and smear somebody's reputation that they don't like for the moment and move on to the next person. You know who's also big for doing this? Griffin Gaming. There's so many.
That's right, bro.
For some reason, you decided to go after Griffin Gaming too for doing the same thing Mischief did. God knows how many other YouTubers you've attacked in the comment section. The pattern is Quantum will start beef with anyone who talks about him. He'll produce a video, leave it up for a day, and then delete it because he realized what a disaster it is for him.
Like, for fuck's sake, he pulled his own video. Deleted by user. You tell me what that shit means.
That's what you call ironic.
I got all these fuckers calling me out of my name. I'm a scumbag. I'm this, that, and the third.
You are, bro.
Many gamers that do this toxic shit where they find somebody they want to bully and they think the shit works. It doesn't work.
Like, if you don't want to get quote-unquote bullied, keep your opinions to yourself. Maybe uploading them to a public website is probably not the best idea.
Griffin makes a good point. If you upload something to YouTube, anyone can criticize it or talk about it. You posted it to the internet. That's the end of it.
He expects the internet to be nice. You did say you were going to look into your options. You did want to take legal action against me. That's also another shtick that people told me about you, like Griffin Gaming. That's what you do. Don't make it like that was clickbait, Chief. You were thinking about it.
Ironically, in his quest to silence all criticism, Quantum TV has invoked the Streisand effect to its maximum potential. Your efforts to hide the truth have only increased people's curiosity about it, to the point where some of the biggest YouTubers and Twitch streamers are aware of your bullshit now too.
I'll be looking into sharing Quantum's abuse of the copyright system with important people at YouTube, as this is something that can lead to the termination of your channel. And I responded and I said to him, imagine having a take on Elden Ring that's literally so bad that you end up getting banned for it.
Wow, wasn't that illuminating?
That's too fucking bad, isn't it? That is just too fucking bad. Wow.
ReviewTech USA was one of the next people to cover Quantum's hot takes.
I'm just going to start off by saying there has been a lot of controversy created by specifically ReviewTech USA.
Now, Rich's videos discussed the bad Elden Ring takes, but also highlighted that Quantum TV's been evading a previous ban on YouTube.
Take that!
A ban for hate speech.
Did I mention 6,752 times that he's banned?
Objection. How is a previous ban relevant? Objection. Because it's against terms of service. Rich has provided ample evidence of bigoted, hateful, downright disgusting posts from Quantum across Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Some of this evidence also came from the TV community, which apparently from my DMs is also sick of his shit.
This is not cancel. This is not. This is someone being held accountable for their horrible, horrible actions that they did over and over and over again.
Now, Rich isn't going after Quantum's past because of cancel culture, right? This is to further establish the legitimacy of your previous channel's ban, Quantum, and therefore justify a ban for your current one. In a response to a picture of two people kissing in a church, he wrote, "Too bad you weren't a Pulse victim." In reference to the Pulse nightclub shooting, an incident at a gay bar where 47 people were killed. Get this piece of trash off of YouTube.
Isn't it funny when people try to call you a bigot and a homophobe when they're literally exactly what they're trying to accuse you of being? Look at you. Literally, look at what you're doing. It's Rich watching you try to paint me as some sort of bigot, as you literally are one.
He put up very, very hateful things towards the LGBTQ community, and I'm not just talking mean words. He actually wished death on them. Wishing death upon someone is another story. I seriously question your sanity. This is what Quantum TV wrote back. They deserve it. The world is better off without them forcing their lifestyle on it. These are your accounts that you had linked on your YouTube. All of a sudden, you're not responsible for them. That's not how it works.
Man, a guy who consistently wishes death upon other people? Does that sound like someone we know?
At the end of the day, go kill yourself.
You see, Rich was able to successfully prove a connection between the hateful things you said on Facebook and Twitter and your YouTube account and Discord. What else have you said?
Just had some girl named Lindsay attack me via heterophobic messages spamming homosexual acts. This is my response to all who are heterophobic, and he shows someone, LGBT activist, attacked in Georgia.
Mark my words, Quantum, all roads lead to one destination, the termination of your current YouTube channel, and I will not rest until that is achieved. You're a fugitive on the run, but the law is catching up. In response, Quantum actually committed another crime of slander. He accused ReviewTech USA of being something horrible. I'm not going to say it here. There's absolutely no evidence of this. So we can just add that to the list of crimes. So, Quantum, care to explain these hateful posts wishing death upon the LGBT community?
And instead of coming to me like a man, you resorted to being a little bitch about it and doing what you knew would get you views, and you tried to use the gay community against me and weaponize shit. And at the end of the day, Rich, you got no fucking leg to stand on, and you need to shut the fuck up, okay? The reality is, it is what it is. I got hacked in 2018, and everything's fine for 2018. It's just that it's a fucking hack. I don't owe you an apology, and I'm not fucking sorry for shit I didn't do. That's it.
Objection!
Mr. TV, would you please read the words on your channel banner? The #1 brand in honesty. Well, it should say the #1 brand in lies.
Take that!
If your accounts were hacked and compromised, then why were these horrible offensive things left on your account after you regained control of it? Why is there no history or post we can refer to of you mentioning the hack back in 2018? Unless these accounts were under the hacker's control for the last 4 years. But wait, that's not the case either, because here's a Discord message of you saying you haven't used these accounts in years.
This is all him. They were there, people screen capped him, he deleted the account, and that account, like I said, was linked on his YouTube. So, did the hacker put that Facebook in YouTube about me?
If you haven't had control of these accounts, then you're telling me the hackers went to your Twitter and Facebook profile accounts and deleted them while Review Tech USA was currently streaming and showing people the awful posts there.
My Twitter was hacked. Okay, so all of those posts that you're seeing from 2018 literally have nothing to do with me, unfortunately. There's not really much I can do outside of working for years to try to recover an account.
Hold it! Let's put the common sense cap on, okay? Quantum TV, why would a hacker, if they wanted to disavow you and discredit you and make you look terrible, rush to take down your Twitter and your blog post while I was streaming all the horrible things that were from it? What if they want to keep it up to make you look even worse? There's another key thing you're going to notice here throughout this video. He does not condemn the terrible things that supposed hackers put up on his Twitter. He doesn't disavow any of it. He just tries to deflect and say it wasn't my fault, which is very telling.
Why is there a common theme of bigotry and hatred across all these accounts and platforms? Is that just pure coincidence? I mean, this was you, right? You know it's wrong. That's why you deleted it. You're trying to hide it. Streisand effect. The truth is, Quantum TV really is anti-LGBTQ. He's transphobic, homophobic, racist, and I don't use any of these words lightly. David, fuck you and your hate speech against me. Calling me homophobic because I'm anti-gay support is all you liberals do. I'm pretty sure being anti-gay is homophobic. I've never pushed or forced my sexuality on the gays, yet they're legit forcing LGBT into games and movies. I stand against your liberal communist propaganda. Black Panther is racist and only the most hateful blacks like it. Yes, hello? What are the symptoms of brain damage? Okay, yeah, I think this guy definitely has it then. You've done yourself in, Quantum. You've done yourself in. Huh? Explain us away, huh? Explain all this shit away.
What's the matter? Huh? That enough?
And since we're on the topic of racist, remember when you called Lenny Kravitz's daughter a half-breed?
Yeah, it's Kyle, which is Lenny Kravitz's daughter, like a half-breed, basically.
Or was that the hacker? Did the hackers, like, manipulate the footage and then post it on your YouTube channel, which you then later deleted? Because that seems to be you, and that seems to be your voice. Half-breed is a racial slur, and it's fucked up to call people that. Here's a screenshot of him defending one of his Discord moderators for the liberal use of the word tranny when referring to trans people. This happened like last week. Were these recent Discord messages faked as well? Do you think calling trans people tranny is a hip, cool thing to do to stick it to the man and those liberal communists? Get fucked. Get absolutely fucked. I'm here to bury you. Everything Quantum does is for his own self-image. The pattern of behavior, silencing comments, trying to silence people's videos, deleting his own channels, deleting videos uploaded, trying to prevent people from downloading the videos. It's never been on the internet. Nobody buys it. Nobody buys it. Quantum will argue that all of this is just one big misunderstanding, you know, that everyone is showing his clips and posts out of context. We're removing all the context.
I don't like the fucking game. It's an endless, pointless death loop, which I've established at multiple points in my review process, which we will be showing in context instead of the out of context shit that all of these YouTubers are running with.
Objection!
You really are intent on burying yourself, aren't you? Your throne of lies is collapsing underneath you. You claim I took your clips out of context, but how can I provide context to my viewers when you delete the videos and threaten me with copyright strikes if I dare provide more context? You see, if anyone were to re-upload those old videos, I'm sure you would go after them too. So you can't ask for us to give more context when you are actively removing our ability to do that. You are a troglodyte. If I can't link people to the videos and I can't show them the full thing of what you said, and trust me, the context of everything he says is made worse, but if I can't do that, then people just have to go off of what I say and what I'm showing them. I don't like that, but that's the situation you put me in. While we're discussing clips out of context,
I will say this for all of you idiots that don't understand. At the end of the day, go kill yourself, man.
You know, we could sit here and argue all the ways that my video, Mischief, Griffin Gaming, Review Tech USA, Mudahart, anybody else that's covered this, we could sit here and debate on why it's fair use, but we all know that. The only person that doesn't understand this is you, Quantum.
I wouldn't have believed this if I didn't see it for myself, but while you literally sit here sucking on cucumbers in a very provocative way, there's a lot that says about your behavior.
You see, so Quantum consistently references the copyright ID tool he used to false flag people.
That I'm a false copyright flagger because some 16-year-old got picked up on the copyright ID tool, which is YouTube's algorithm. He being a little fuck that likes to take people's video and use them and talk about them and say whatever they want. And I fucking use the tool the way it's supposed to be used. I'm an abuser.
You can use the YouTube algorithm to actually go ahead and copyright people, but the thing is, you shouldn't. That's the problem.
Like I said, YouTube support advised me that filing a copyright claim against you was the best way to re-upload. So, wait a fucking second.
Objection!
That I can accurately say is a load of bullshit. YouTube will not tell you to file a copyright claim just because a video is re-uploaded. At least not exactly like that. Again, like in the beginning example, if I uploaded an entire TV show to YouTube, YouTube would get that DMCA because YouTube is a safe harbor website. As soon as they get a copyright claim, they must act on it or else they lose a lot of those protections. So yeah, they remove your video. That doesn't mean YouTube is going to accurately speak to you through their support channel on a serious legal issue. YouTube will actually straight up want you to talk to a lawyer because once you file a DMCA, a legally binding DMCA, that's between you, your attorneys, and that's it. You realize following YouTube's support advice on copyright claims to remove re-uploads failed me, and as a result, I'm being labeled as a copyright abuser, right? And then this person says, that I cannot answer for you. It's a fucking support agent, okay? Don't believe the support agent, who's probably not even from the country that you're dealing in, is gonna give you accurate information. Anytime you deal with legal shit, you should be smart enough to know to get a goddamn lawyer.
You blame YouTube support for the false copyright takedown instead of yourself. Somehow, everyone else on YouTube is completely unaware of what copyright is and fair use and the four measures of fair use. It's everyone's wrong but you. As if a piece of software built into the YouTube system is somehow responsible for illegal actions. It's not. But after my encounter with Quantum in the DMs, I was like, this is a man who cannot be reasoned with, who will not change, and who cannot change. He's still the same hateful, bigoted, racist, transphobic piece of human trash, copyright abuser that he was before. Nothing has changed. He has only been trying to hide all this stuff. Like
nice. Ella loot at DC icon. Nainde mon.
I can countersue you if you come after me. I will win, and I will clean you out. You will sell that wedding ring on your finger. You will sell your house and any valuable possessions you have for wasting my fucking time. I'm the act attorney, of course. I win every case. The laws do not change based on what Quantum TV thinks about them. Quantum, we have evidence of hate speech. We have evidence of you telling people to kill themselves on multiple accounts. We have proof of all of this through your accounts that we can also prove were not hacked.
Actually,
we have evidence of you threatening multiple content creators with false copyright takedowns going against fair use. We have all the proof we need to get your YouTube account terminated, and it's all thanks to you. Give it up, guys. Give it up for this laughingstock clown man out here providing quality entertainment. You see, we've been able to elevate the voices of the people you tried to silence, coerce, and threaten. Hopefully the YouTube community can come together and demand YouTube implement better systems in place so that content creators that abuse this system are much more heavily reprimanded and discouraged from abusing it. We'll call it Quantum's Code. Copyright takedowns is akin to using nukes. We all understand the ramifications of using such a tool, and that's why we've collectively agreed not to do that. Because if we could just take down any video we didn't like, then nobody would have a place here. And a platform that isn't made for everyone is a platform that shouldn't be made, in my opinion. Before arriving at my final point, here's the most important thing I have to say about all of this. Unfortunately, there is no cure for narcissistic personality disorder.
Fuck Elden Ring. Fuck their players. I'm not sorry. I don't like Elden Ring players. They're nasty people.
None of this has anything to do with legitimacy. Quantum isn't using this controversy to grow his channel, and this has nothing to do with Elden Ring. This has everything to do with a disorder. Ego. Listen very closely.
This is Dave, head of marketing at a ketchup company about to use Grammarly to handle a tight deadline.
Hey, come here, forget about this. I got something very important to tell you. It's about a secret hidden gem, the greatest mobile game of all time. That's right, it's Raid Shadow Legends, which just also happens to be today's sponsor. Come on, let's get serious.
This month, Raid has released the latest addition to its huge boss roster, and it's the biggest, baddest, and scariest yet, the Hydra. This thing is a super-powered clan boss that's basically like a bunch of bosses rolled into one. It's got multiple heads, and each one of them has unique mechanics that are trying to kill you. If the best rewards are what you're after, join a clan and fight the clan boss. But personally, I prefer to hit the campaign and get that XP, and get loads of silver and some artifacts. Raid's also giving away a champ based on Navi Superstar Simple, available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you have to do is log in for 7 days between now and January 28th, and he's yours. And if you want an even bigger head start, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan the QR code right here. New players will get an epic hero, Aina, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in-game. You'll find these rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. And hey, you can even find me in-game under the name, you guessed it, JonTron Show. All right, now let's get to the video.
A shy-aside chat with John.
Welcome! Today, there you are. Today we're gonna be talking about the like-dislike thing, but I know this has already been disliked to death, so, you know, I'm not gonna talk too much about my opinion on it because everybody already knows the opinion, that it's stupid. Everybody knows that it's stupid, so I don't need to repeat that. What's the reason they gave? Let's go to blog.youtube, a very valuable resource for the human race. An update on dislikes to YouTube. What the fuck is this? Uncooked ramen? I dislike that. Can I? Button's gone. The dislike count will be private across YouTube, but the dislike button will remain. Big brains! Over at YouTube HQ. What can you say? What can you say other than But we won't go there. At YouTube, we strive to be a place where creators of all sizes, thank you, and backgrounds can find and share their voice to ensure that YouTube promotes respect. Okay.
You gotta love the just spread of reasons they're giving for this. Earlier this year, we experimented with the dislike button to see whether or not changes could help better protect our creators from harassment. Oh, they're doing this for me. They're doing this for me? For my own good?
Hi.
That's weird. I thought it was
Friendly drone deployed.
because of all these
Op 4
transnational
is
corporate
reinforcing
interests.
location.
Oh, good, because now I can stop thinking it was all that. But let's ease off the rhetoric, and we can have a little bit of long-bottomed leaf. You don't need to think about all that. You don't need to think about all that harsh stuff. The world is changing, but the Shire will always remain the same. I won't forget this. So instead of just, retreading all that old ground that everybody already knows about, I decided I'm just gonna do a little something fun and wacky for this little end of year video. That's right, we're gonna go back and we are going to look at some of the most disliked videos of all time, and we are gonna judge for ourselves whether or not the judgment was just. So, let's go back and see if some of these mass disliking campaigns, hold up to this day, or if it was just emotions running high at the time. But how do we know which videos were the most disliked? Because now that they've taken that away, it doesn't show it anymore.
Oh, this is a sight.
Why should you have it? It is mine alone to behold.
Go. Give it back to the...
It's mine! What's that? Look there. What's that? What happened now? Oh, the dislikes are back. I don't know how long this is going to be around, but on Google's own Chrome web store, you can just get return YouTube dislike. So, I don't know how long this is going to last for. This may be our last chance to scour for, most disliked videos. So where should we start? Let's go to the Wikipedia list of most disliked YouTube videos. Obviously, all the first million are going to be mine. Okay, number 1 is YouTube Rewind 2018. I won't go over that one. Everybody knows that one.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Okay, first up on the list, Baby Shark. This is the second most disliked video of all time. I mean, we all know Baby Shark, but it still has a positive ratio. So there are still massively more lovers of this video than haters. I've just been informed by my highly trained staff that we can't show this video. I had a feeling. So, Baby Shark, do-do-do-do-do, Baby Shark, do-do-do-do-do. Fuck this video. That's what 14 million people said. 14 million dislikes. That's a wide spread of the population there. Some of these are probably you. You click that button, all right? The only way you can atone for this is by screenshotting that, sending it to my Twitter, and say sorry.
Down to 1 friendly.
Say sorry to that young boy who was just going, Baby Shark, do-do-do-do-do. Say sorry to that guy.
15 seconds. All friendlies have been eliminated.
Okay,
Number 3 is Sadok 2 trailer. Okay, I don't know what that is. This came out August 12th, 2020. Okay, this is new. Oh my God, look at that. What the hell? What did Vishesh Films do? Jesus Christ. We're gonna watch the Sadok 2 trailer. Hope I can get through it without throwing a chair.
सुना था कि प्यार कचरे को भी सोना बना देता है.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is disgusting. Don't like this video? Sign in to make your opinion count. We wanted to, but you won't let us, You might want to change that.
आजकल तो लोग WhatsApp पे ही रिश्ते बनाते हैं और उसे तोड़ के देते हैं. मगर विशाल भी मुझसे
Okay, 17 level I guess I don't think
see what's wrong here. It looks like a pretty good film.
Goodbye.
2020, people came to dislike the video. 2021, people came to check the dislikes.